You didn't flip to the screen,
I didn't.
so we're both screwed. This is The Functional Gentleman. We're your hosts, Roy Gravis, Bucky Pender.
Hey.
I was reading. Okay, so something's wrong with the link. Apparently, it's failed on their end.
Oh,
so
that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try again.
I wonder if it's because I went live.
Probably.
Maybe.
Probably.
Who knows?
I was telling them try again.
We're learning.
Yeah, we're learning on the fly. So, like I said, this is Functional Gentleman. We're your host, Roy Gravis, Bucky Pender.
Hey, buddy.
No producer in Producer's Corner because producer's still on assignment.
Apparently, this is amateur hour tonight.
No, it's not amateur hour. We're all good. We should be joined at some point by our special guest from Thornton Distilling.
Yeah. How about those guys?
I know. Those guys are... I'm interested in this one. This thing's been in my possession for a little bit, but I'm interested in it. And they also sent this, which I'm kind of...
Oh, I've heard good things.
I have too, so I'm kind of interested in that. That's why I have two glasses on the table. We're both on. Okay, they're both on. So let's flip to the.
You want to go ahead and do
flip
this?
to the collab cam. I'll smoke while they're doing it. I'll mention the smokes
color
and all
block.
that. Yeah, not the color block.
Let's do
collab
this
cam one. That would be.
Show on stream.
That says Ari, so that's
Ari.
Ari.
If you can hear us, let me know.
Yep, there's the high sign.
Good to go.
Where is Mr. Andrew at? Andrew. Collab cam.
Oh, wait. Okay.
There's Andrew. Okay.
Close.
Okay,
Oh, wait, it's
so
showing
now-
both of them.
Okay, so it's showing. Okay. Give us a second, Andrew. We're trying to work technical issues out because apparently it's going technical on everybody's end at the moment. Their end, Ari, and no pun intended with Ari's name because it almost Arian and Ari almost kind of rhyme. So
That's
okay, so there's that. Okay, there's
Show
Ari
on
again.
screen.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. Okay, where are we at?
Hold on.
That's a really big Ari.
Keep going.
Ari's super young, by the way. I've never seen a distiller that young.
Hey.
I'm impressed already.
Is that a compliment?
He's got a baby face.
It's working for him. It's working. I'll give him that. It's straight up working. Right? Okay, so yeah, resize that just quickly. Here we go.
Yeah, now everybody's on.
Now we got everybody. So if you're looking at home, the gentleman with all the barrels and stuff, that would be Mr. Andrew Howell, who is the founder of Thornton Distilling. And then in the lower screen we have Mr. Ari. I don't know your last name. I'm gonna be honest.
Clafter?
I can't. Is it Clafter? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, look at me go.
Look at us.
We know things.
Texans pronouncing something that's not Texas. Who'd have thought it?
Yeah, right?
So Thornton Distilling, okay. You guys are in the Illinois area. I get that much, but I'm curious because number one, you're making a really good looking product, but I'm curious on how you went from Thornton Brewing to Thornton Distilling, because that's always kind of intrigued me with y'all's backstory. So
Sure. So it's the building we're in has a really cool old history, pre-prohibition brewing history. A lot of malt fermentations been going on in the building for a really long time. So it's actually the oldest standing brewery in Illinois, built in 1857. John Bielefeld Brewing Company operated from here, made traditional like German style beers. Pre-electricity, they're fermenting under the frost line, doing cold fermentations, so Ari and I and my partner Jake, we came across the property. Had been vacant for about 15 years, 20 years ish. It was blighted, but just a giant 20,000 square foot Victorian era property, and I think it just needed a lot of work, more than we initially wanted to do. Like, we just wanted to make whiskey and sell whiskey, and we ended up doing 3 years of property development instead. But so we came, checked out the building, learned about the history. During Prohibition, it became Capone's largest bootlegging facility in Chicago.
I love the Capone reference.
Yeah,
that's awesome to me.
So it's got a cool history from pre-Prohibition into post-Prohibition or through Prohibition and such. But I think the thing that sold Ari and I on it really was the artesian well. Underneath the property, we have a subterranean limestone filtered artesian well. That's why the early brewers were here in the 1800s, and it really made them famous back in the day. The water quality is still, it's pristine. So when we learned that water, though, the well was still, it was still artesian, it was still flowing. That's what really motivated us to take on the project. And, we're not making beer anymore. We're focusing now on whiskey, American single malt whiskey, but we're still doing malt fermentation in the building. Haven't really incorporated any automation or anything like that. So it's pretty traditional still. So we're hoping to honor, the stewards of the properties past. And we're just trying to make really good single malt whiskey now.
You're tugging at my heart. You're tugging at my heartstrings right now with that paying homage to the past. I love that aspect of it.
So that the well you talk about, it's in a cave. Is that how y'all, whenever you took over the building, is that how you found it in that cave? Because that's a really creepy kind of photo of just the well by itself. It's kind of dark. Is that how you found it? Did y'all have to restore any of that, or?
So we ran new electrical down there, but that's the original 1830s well. They say the well predates the building in 1857. The history is really, it goes pre-1857. There was actually a log cabin brewery on the property in the 1830s that was woman-owned and operated, called Berry Brewing Company, because her husband had died. There's debate whether Berry Brewing tapped into the artesian spring and formed the well in the 1830s and 40s, or if Bielefeld did it in 1857. We just say 1857. We know the building was built then.
Right.
It could be older though, but it's totally original. Underground, it looks like a French catacomb almost.
Yeah. Did you ever get to a point while you were restoring a building this old where you just kind of threw your hands up and you were like, nope, I'm done? Or did you did you find anything cool while you were kind of redoing everything?
I think we all definitely considered quitting at some point along the way. To be honest, we did like 3 years of construction. After about 1.5 years, we had the equipment down, like the still boiler and everything in place, so we could start laying down barrels. But it wasn't until December 2019 when we finally had the dead drop, labels, and we finally did a grand opening. We were ready for distribution. And then just 2 months later, it was the shutdown. So definitely could have timed it better,
Yeah, for sure.
So that, there was a lot of regret just with the timing of everything. But the property now, it's come so far. It's hard to think back 5 years ago, or 2015, I should say, when we started.
But I love the fact that says a lot to y'all's character, as far as the fact that you literally opened like right before everything shut down, and then you're still grinding at it, which is phenomenal to me. Most people will be like, damn the luck. I mean, what are we going to do? But no, you guys stayed the course, and I love that. So let's talk a little bit about how the Drop Dead name came to be.
Dead Drop.
Dead Drop, sorry. Dead Drop, Drop Dead.
If you're going to get it right.
I've been up since 3, man. It's been a long day already.
So that's a common thing. Dead drop's an old bootlegging term.
Right.
Like if Ari made you a barrel of whiskey and he hid it behind, a bush, and you came back at midnight and picked it up when the coast was clear, that is a dead drop. And so we kind of look at the history of the building and look at it as picking up from where our predecessors left off.
Okay.
And then the drop kind of incorporates almost like the water, which is that common thread from the early immigrant brewers to us today. Like, it's all about the water. So we thought it was a cool kind of sounding name that kind of encapsulated the history and the water that we use and everything like that.
Okay. I like it. You got any other questions over on your sheet?
Yeah.
I know you got. I'm fixing to actually uncork this, because
go ahead.
We have in front of us the Dead Drop American Pecan by you guys. So I'm kind of curious on that.
Yeah. So I mean, since he's going to pop it, if you were doing a tasting with us, what can you tell us about this one, and what should we expect as we kind of explore through it? Awesome. Right. Yeah. 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 Pecans always, they have that oiliness to them, and then kind of the aftertaste, I guess, is kind of dry with a pecan, and you get that nuttiness. It's like you said, it's very sweet, very vanilla forward.
Not just that, this thing's got good-looking legs on it. Look at that.
Yeah, it's an interesting product. It's, it surprises a lot of folks when they hear it. It's like, they make us call it a flavored bourbon.
Yeah.
And so Ari and I were kind of looking at that category, flavored bourbon. There's not a lot of like legitimate products, in that playing in that sandbox. So we're like, let's try to do something legit where we don't there's no added artificial flavors, coloring, sweetener, or anything like that. It's really just the pecan oil in the pecans that is giving it that body and flavor.
And I really like that because whenever Roy told me what y'all had sent, I was really nervous because, A, we're not really huge fans of flavored whiskey, and B, you kind of get that artificial sweetness flavor on a lot of them. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie to anybody. It's classic bourbon, but it's got that nuttiness to it. It's not overpowering. There's no artificial weird flavoring in your mouth. I mean, it's something you could definitely sit and
You want me to tell you what this is?
sip on.
I'll sum it up in one sentence. This is a bonfire's best friend.
There you go.
Like, no lie. Like, I love the roastedness, like what Ari was talking about, the roasted pecans that they do. You get that on your tongue.
And
Like, I literally feel like I went to grandma's, got a handful of fresh pecans, cracked one open and ate it. That's what I feel like right now.
There you go. It's that Coca-Cola effect. You got to go for the fond memories to get people latched in. So is this 100% your own distillate, or how is?
Well, it started that way.
Okay.
Okay.
For sure.
It's
Oh. Right.
when we released the American Pecan Bourbon, it was our distillate.
Okay.
Same with the straight bourbon you're going to try and the old fashioned. I'd say about 4.5 years ago, we made a pivot from bourbon to single malt whiskey. Ari lays down more single malt than anything else now. And when we did that, we decided to start sourcing an MGP product to keep it on the market, keep it available to folks. And then we have a ton of fun doing barrel picks with them. And like Ari said, like the blending process is really fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a reason. There's a reason they're as big as they are. They make good whiskey. I mean, people can say whatever they want, and like you said, go in there doing the barrel selections, doing things like that. I mean, that's really awesome. So that's fun. That's cool.
This is good.
So what made you make the pivot to single malt versus doing a bourbon or an Illinois whiskey or whatever you want to call it? Obviously, everybody, I've said it, Roy said it, everybody says it. It's the year of the single malt. So
Is that?
what kind of is that what made you make the pivot? And Ari you can chime in at any point, because I know you went to school in Scotland, if I'm not mistaken, which is kind of the home of the single malt. So just kind of both give your stories, and let's hear why the single malt switch.
Well,
Yeah.
when we started, we were focused on bourbon and rye whiskey. We still have like some barrels of wheated bourbon. We're going to lay down more rye this year. We actually sold out of the rye like during the pandemic. It was released at some of the liquor stores around town and stuff. And I think we're going to start laying down, like 30, 40 barrels a year moving forward, just to keep some of those available at the distillery. But it's primarily single malt now. And part of getting Ari to move from where he was on the East Coast was agreeing to take on single malt. So we still have rye sort of up our sleeve. And then we're sitting on some bourbon. We just haven't laid down any more bourbon. We haven't really chatted about putting down any more moving forward, but we probably will here and there. Yeah.
I like it. So I'm going to ask a silly question at this point. How old is Ari? Like, legitimately, how old is Ari?
Oh, come on, man.
Like, I got to know. It's killing me.
I want to hear your guess.
35.
I'm going to go ahead and say he's definitely younger than I am. So I will say 32.
It's pretty close. I'm about to turn 34.
Okay.
There, yeah.
I knew he was younger than I was, so at least I'm good on that part.
Hey, keep it coming.
That's wild. Almost 34-year-old master distiller. Yes, sir. Okay.
So, why a distillery? Why whiskey? And Ari, you came in later, right? In like 2017, after you came in at the right time after the construction was done, and you didn't have to work or build anything.
Just a whole lot of that. Definitely not after it was done, but after a huge part of it was underway, and we could at least focus on production. I mean, part of that is, it didn't really make sense to bring in a distiller until we could actually do something with it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I had sort of heard about what Andy and Jake were trying to do, and I got in touch with them. I came out and I saw the place, and I just saw that there was so much potential there. But why distilling? Why whiskey? Because whiskey's amazing. Because I live for distilling. Whiskey's awesome. We hope and we think that other people think whiskey's awesome and want to try our whiskey.
It's okay.
Yeah. So we think that we have unique styles that aren't really seen on the market, or really aren't there as of today, that we can put forth in the coming years, and we can really earn our place out there in the market with some of our really interesting single malts for certain things like our like I said, our bottled old fashioned. We also do some botanical spirits. I make a gin is one of my favorite things to make around here, and also an absinthe, which is pretty cool.
Why is everybody doing gin?
Bucky has this negative thing towards gin, and when you said gin, it just cracked me up. I'm like, yes.
There's some bad gins out there. My first gin, I disliked gin for years because growing up, I would take certain liberties with my father's gin. My dad would, keep a 1.75, plastic in the freezer.
Heck yeah.
And you learn real quick that water does freeze if you fill a gin bottle with it. Your dad will teach you about that the hard way.
You get caught every time that way.
But first impressions matter, right? And when you try a gin like that, I thought all gins were bad, but it turns out my dad's just really cheap and drinks bad gin. And it wasn't until like college when I started trying through some different gins and realized like this is an amazing category. There's just so many options, you know what I mean? Like it's not as I guess defined as a lot of the other categories. So I feel like it gives us a lot of creativity. I know it's one of my favorite ones to make. I know Ari, you're pretty passionate about it too, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love working with gin because you work with all these cool ingredients that you wouldn't otherwise. Yeah, to your question, why gin? I mean, there's a very prosaic reason that distilleries kind of start with gin is that they can get it out a lot quicker than we can our whiskey.
Right.
And laying down whiskey is very capital intensive, so that is usually a good idea. But I think distillers like making it because it gives you like a blank slate to do whatever you want. There are gins with very, very weird, strange flavor ingredients. Some of them are hyper local. Some of them are, have like smoked tea. Some of them have peppercorns. So you can kind of go a bunch of different directions. You have your sort of like classic, very juniper forward London dry style, or you can make a gin that's very citrusy or very floral. So I think people like the ability to tailor the product to however they want and to do different expressions.
I like it. To me, gin is a artisan wonder that's very underrated.
Since we're kind of...
You guys have thought about this before.
Yeah, a little bit. One of our good friend of the show from Acre Distilling here in Texas, they do a hashtag gin is in, and I just can't. I always make fun of it and say gin is not in. So it's kind of a little bit of a debate between all three of us. But yeah, anyways. So you do other spirits. You do rum, gin, like you said, absinthe. But something I noticed is your rum is kosher, correct? What's the significance of that? Why did you choose to, I guess, take that path? What was the thought process there?
So there's a couple things. Our rum is actually as far as we can tell, the first ever kosher for Passover certified rum. And that came about for like a couple reasons. One, we want everybody to be able to try the products that we make. We also noticed that the kosher market, at least in terms of spirits, it's very wine heavy. In terms of spirits, it's a little underdeveloped, and particularly like kosher for Passover products. Passover being a holiday where you're not able to consume anything made from grain.
Right.
The spirit products there's not a lot of options. They're usually not good. They're mostly like, I feel like people who grew up observing Passover, they always joke that like the only thing available was Slivovitz, like Eastern European unaged plum brand, and they all hate it. And me, before I actually joined Thornton Distilling, I was working at a rum distillery, a distillery that only made rum out in Massachusetts. So I kind of like had rum on the brain, came aboard Thornton Distilling, and somehow we started talking a little bit about wanting to make some kosher for Passover product, and we figured out there's a way to do that with rum if you don't use ex-whiskey barrels.
Interesting.
So our dark rum takes sort of a different path in that it all uses brand new American white oak barrels, which is also cool because, I feel like with bourbon, you're usually doing a higher char, like a high char.
Right.
You're doing number 3, maybe number 4. I've seen things go even higher than that.
Alligator char.
That's what I'm doing right now to the cigars, alligator char.
And so it gets wild, but the cool thing about rum is I feel like a little bit of oak goes a long way. So we're able to explore bringing out different flavors by using like a number 1 or a number 2 char, as well as toasted oak staves and toasted cask heads. So you're able to like bring out other flavors that I don't think you're readily going to do in some other products. So rum is also kind of fun. I feel like every year, people in the industry joke that this is going to be the year that rum makes a huge comeback, taking over the industry. It never really happens, but it still has its fans, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like rum fans, like they're passionate, they're diehard, they're super into mixology and all that, and it's a fun culture. So
yeah, personally, I feel like rum and tequila kind of run parallel to each other, because you got some really high, intelligent tequila fans, and it goes the same way with rum. Once you get into one of them, they pretty much run parallel. But so Andy, Ari's been talking a lot here lately. Does he let you touch anything? Do you get to turn any knobs, or
he does like all the production at this point. I just left a liquor store where I was in the aisle slinging samples. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. So if you don't mind, Andy, can we get a little bit of your origin story, as I like to call it? Why did you choose a distillery? What's your background prior to this? A little bit of an origin story.
Sure. So I started out, I'm from Nebraska. I moved up to Chicago and I was going to Columbia College. I wanted to get into the music industry. After college, I worked for a record label, but I had always sort of paid my bills working for Peace Brewing in Wicker Park. They have an outstanding brewing program there. There was a brewer, Jonathan Cutler, that was incredible. Peace doesn't really distribute their beer, so not a lot of people outside of Chicago are familiar with them, but Jonathan won Best Small Brew Pub Master at the World Beer Cup and Best Small Brew Pub. And so those were the years when I was there in college working, and he was just so passionate. He passed away recently, but he was really passionate about craft. And so I think initially when I got into craft brewing, it just kind of takes you down eventually a rabbit hole where you end up with, whiskey and spirits. And then I guess if you're kind of crazy enough to try to venture out and start your own, So we were getting, me and a couple friends were, doing projects at home, I guess, I'll phrase it like that, and getting a lot of really positive feedback, enough that we were inclined to chat about trying to get something going, and really just started talking a lot in 2012, 2013 about it, and then finally started planning it, and then I remember when we started, everyone was like, how long do you think it'll take you to open? How long do you think it'll take you to start the distillery? And conservatively, I was like, a year or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then fast forward, and it's 6 years later. Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's like the SpongeBob.
Yeah, the SpongeBob 5 years later.
5 years later. Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. It's always fun to hear people's backstory before they get into distilling. We've met tech guys that got into it after they retired, brewery guy. I mean, there's all kind of backstories, and that's really fun how people kind of end up in the distilling world.
I think passion's contagious, and that's what gets people into it. Whether it's people that are just getting into whiskey or getting into distilling, it's having someone there that's super passionate about it, that knows more than you, that and then just have almost like a big brother, that introduces you to a band in high school that he's crazy about. I don't know, it's just when you have someone like that in your life, then I feel like it just opens the door to it.
For sure. Ari, kind of, I guess, same question, if you don't mind, kind of running back pre-college and then going to Scotland. What was that experience like? And then how you kind of migrated to end up with Andy and in the position you're in now.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't study anything related to distilling at all in college, but at some point I got really I got into beer right around when I turned 21, and I just started brewing. It didn't take me long to figure out that people did this as a hobby, and it quickly turned out that I liked brewing more than I, and this might be blasphemy, but even more than I like drinking beer, as much as I love drinking beer. And I got really bit by that bug because I love, I like understanding processes. I like understanding the science behind them, little tweaks you can make to make your product better. And so I founded a brew club at my college, and I just kind of kept that up for a couple of years. Like I said, I didn't study brewing or distilling, so I didn't really jump into it as a job when I graduated, but I kept it up as a hobby, and I just loved it. And at some point, after a couple of years, I decided, what am I doing each day? I like going home and I like making beer and I like trying new whiskeys and different spirits. I got really into, Mexican agave spirits and interested in gin. And I just saw that there's this whole huge world that had opened up from that. And I realized also that distilling was going to grow in the coming years. Where beer was at that point, it's not nearly as saturated as it is now, but it's still pretty saturated. But distilling was starting to grow, and I wanted to get into it. But I really wanted to. I like taking my time with things, and really getting a good background and getting like a good plan before jumping in. So that's why I decided to do a master's degree in brewing and distilling, because rather than learning on the job and making a bunch of mistakes and putting down some barrels that don't taste good and all that stuff, I really, personally, because I love the science behind it and because I just like doing the best that I possibly can, I wanted to study it as well as I can, and I went to the absolute best place you could do that. So I saved up for a couple of years, went and studied that, and then I felt like that gave me like such a good background. And it was also amazing because it was a small program. There are only about 65 people in a class out there at the International Center for Brewing and Distilling, and they're from all over the world. So you'd be hanging out with these guys, like, when you look around, there's folks from Portugal, India, Mexico, Kenya, from the UK, from Ireland, just all around a table. Maybe we're brewing beer, talking about beer, we're talking about, production management, all that stuff. And you realize that it's such a tight-knit community of people who are equally as passionate about this one thing as you are. So it was really, really a wonderful experience. And I took that theory and brought it back to the U.S., started out my career where it became hands-on. And I do feel like both of those, studying the science behind distilling so in depth and actually getting my feet wet, make me a really well-rounded distiller and give me the tools I need to do what I do each day.
That's interesting, because I didn't even realize there was an actual, I guess, degree for brewing and distilling. Like, I've heard of Moonshine University where you can go and learn all of that stuff, but I didn't realize there was an actual degree for it.
Yeah, I mean, probably for good reason. Like, a lot of people aren't going to devote their life to that when you go to university for 3 days.
Right, exactly.
A little diploma, but I don't know. It's not common. Actually, a lot of people. I know a lot of folks in the industry that did go through the same program. Obviously, it's a small industry, so it's a small program. Kind of, it works out that way. But I feel like most everyone I meet who's done it think it was worthwhile, and would recommend it to folks who are trying to just get their foot through the door.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what's worthwhile is this old fashioned.
Is it?
You got? Oh my God, you got to try this.
Can y'all give us a little bit of a story on this bottled old fashioned?
That thing is legit.
And what it contains and consists of and all that jazz.
Yeah, Andy, I'm gonna take this one as well.
he's like Andy, I got this. Just sit there and look pretty. I got this.
I think it's really unique out there in the market, and it's one of my favorites to drink as well. It actually kind of started right around the pandemic because, like Andy said, we're about to go through distribution. Pandemic hit, and everything shut down, including our cocktail bar at the distillery. And we sort of got to thinking that, if nothing else, the people who used to visit our distillery still want to drink these amazing cocktails and maybe don't really know how to make them at home or don't want to. There's an easier way to do this. So we came up with the idea of creating this bottled old fashioned. And so we teamed up with the managing partner for the Violet Hour, which is James Beard award-winning cocktail bar in Chicago.
Okay.
Really out of this world. And we worked with them to develop the formula on it. And again, same with like the pecan whiskey. We really want this to be a whiskey drinker's drink. And that's why it's actually bottled at a really high proof compared to a lot of pre-mixed old fashions out there.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Which is cool. But there's a couple of things that I think we do differently with this. We make all of our bitters and we make our syrup in-house on I use an old home brewing setup. So what I first do is I take Demerara sugar, which is a naturally occurring brown sugar. So it's not like most brown sugar these days is actually white table sugar that's been painted with molasses, which is disappointing. There's a when I learned that, like a little part of me died. But there are some like still natural. They're more expensive for sure, but they're naturally occurring brown sugar. Demerara is one of them. So what we do is we put that into a kettle over an open flame, and we actually don't add water at first. We stir that for about 30 minutes, and it starts to caramelize. So you get these really, really deep flavors of like molasses and marshmallow and like treacle that come out of that. Then we start to add botanicals to make our bitters. And so the botanicals, I mean, you're probably, I'd love to hear what you guys are tasting, but we use a lot of vanilla bean. So I really kind of want that to accentuate the flavor of bourbon. So we use whole Madagascar and Tahitian vanilla bean. We use fresh ginger, bitter orange peel, sarsaparilla, angelica roots, a little bit of spearmint, and a handful of other things, just a touch of cardamom because it makes it kind of piquant, maybe pop a bit. And then we use that same mash bill, the relatively high rye mash bill of bourbon, 21% rye, which I think gives it like a real nice balance. That rye pops through a little bit, which I think got very well with an old fashioned. And the idea is, it's easy, it's approachable. All you got to do is, have a glass, pour it over.
I don't even think you'd need a glass, man. I think you can drink this straight out of the bottle. I don't think you need a glass.
I'm trying to be dignified here.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to go for a bottle chug. I mean, let's be honest. But I mean, at the same time, so talk about it, because there's one thing on this label that stands out to me. Saigon cinnamon. Let's talk about that for a second.
It just sounds fancy.
It sounds ridiculously fancy, like it does. And I'm intrigued on why that particular cinnamon.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple different varieties of cinnamon out there, and I think it's very common these days. It's not as common to find real cinnamon. You find cassia bark, which is a relative of cinnamon. It's a cheaper substitute.
Right.
And so we want to call out that we're using real cinnamon root with this. It's really interesting because I feel like people are more familiar with the flavor of cassia. It's kind of like got that little bit of like nutmeg, like baked goods character, and real Saigon cinnamon is a little bit more spicy and in your face.
I would love to see this in a spice cake. You talking about Saigon cinnamon in a spice cake? That'd be legit.
Oh god,
that would be good.
It's cool because it also comes in these huge stocks. So back in the day, like when I was just starting to like toy with getting into distilling, I worked a little bit for a bitters company, and you get like these 2-foot long stocks of cinnamon. And I remember like half of my job was just cracking them. And like having to put on gloves because they give you like these weird cinnamon splinters. So it's like it's a lot harder to actually work with. But the flavor, like I said, it just pops a little bit more.
It does that. That's for sure. That comes through to me more than, I mean, don't get me wrong, I get the vanilla bean, but to me that Saigon cinnamon, that comes through like it kicks the door in. It comes through that much. So that's really good for a quote unquote pre-mixed old fashioned. That's pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Thank you. It's turning into one of our most popular products now. We
really
just got a medal at San Francisco Spirit Competition for it, and
congratulations.
They're liking it. It's like I already said, 37%. So it reads like a real old fashioned. Some of the other ones just artificially flavored, kind of like old fashioned flavored candy almost. Yeah. So just really wanted to try to put a legitimate old-fashioned in a bottle and sort of wagering that people are willing to spend a little more to treat themselves to something real. So.
Do you sell it in a 6-pack?
We're talking about coming out with a 750 of it right now.
Okay.
RTDs are the hot new thing.
They really are.
Yeah.
You put this in a 6-pack, that's definitely going to sell. That's really good.
So
thank you.
Ari, I gotta ask. There's this super cool looking picture of you holding this giant thing of peat that it claims. The picture claims that you dug it out of the foots of the Mississippi River, and is there truth to that? But the photo looks really cool because you're like, yeah, man, peat.
He's the peat monster. What are you talking about? That's the peat monster right there.
Yeah, no, that's all true. So one of the products, like I said, we're working on single malt, and that's our big thing. And we're working with two particular mash bills. We have our unpeated single malt, which has 4 different brewer strains. Then we have our Illinois peated single malt. And this is really kind of, I think, going to be one of our big, because it's such a cool way to showcase local terroir. What we did is it took us a couple of years of actually searching and asking around. We found a local local farmer rather, who had a peat deposit on his land. And through talking with him, we were able to go out there, harvest the peat, bring it back to the distillery, dry it, and then give it to a local family-owned maltster, where we actually now get all of our grain from. Nice. And they use smoked grain for us. So that was actually the first time that we had went out there. Andy and I went out there with a big truck, came out there, harvested it, and we actually had to fill up that truck bed by hand. So there's a lot more to that picture than that. So I remember the picture. In that picture, I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the day, a couple hours, I wouldn't look quite as happy. But man, it's so cool. Like for me, peat is probably the purest expression of terroir in whiskey because it takes thousands of years to develop.
Did you hear what he just said?
No.
Can you repeat that, Ari?
No.
Right? I think I said that for me, peat is one of the purest expressions of terroir in whiskey.
I'm going to need you to snippet that, and we're going to put that on like our main page, so where every time somebody opens our page, they have Ari's voice saying that. Because like Bucky and I are on total different ends of the spectrum when it comes to peat. Bucky hates peat.
Hate it.
But I think part of that is my own fault, because when I introduced him into the world of peated scotch, we went full tilt, kick the door in, riot style.
Ardbeg.
We went Ardbeg, wee beastie, off the cut.
Yeah.
And Bucky's like, I don't see how you do
I just
this.
can't do it.
You'll get there.
He said you'll get
I'll
there.
grow up one day.
It's like that day you realize you're more like it's like I'm really similar to my father. It's like
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden you're like,
Damn it, I did not want to get there. So something that I think is kind of cool, and I'm curious, obviously everybody knows about Balcones here in Texas. Do you take any inspiration from a brand or a smaller brand like that who kind of went national? What are your thoughts, and are there some companies or distillers that you kind of looked up to and wanted to model your game behind?
That's a good question. I like that one. Good job.
I mean, like I think there's so many talented distillers out there, and there's so many distilleries making really, really cool products. Putting me on the spot, there's so many distilleries I'm gonna miss. I love what Balcones is. Balcones, I think, when I first started getting into whiskey and seeing them, that was part of the influence and the motivation to focus on single malt, because they kind of paved the way along with others there. I really like what Westland is doing. They're another American single malt. They, as well as Andalusia up in your neck of the woods. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of their own malting and smoking on site, which is really, really awesome.
So I'm going to officially adopt Ari as Texas adjacent, just because of the fact that he mentioned Balcones and Andalusia in the same breath. So you're Texas adjacent, sir.
You got some cool places out there.
Yeah.
Sure. It's hard to say. I think I respect any distillery that tries to do something a little bit different. I think there's a lot of distilleries, particularly if you don't have a very clear vision or you don't have a lot of experience distilling, you're kind of like, all right, I'm just going to try to make something that's just like a Buffalo Trace bourbon.
Right.
When I see somebody trying to pioneer something for the first time or really trying to lead a category, even if they know it's really an uphill battle, I love brandy and fruit brandy, and I know those don't sell nearly as well as some other categories. And I see some people that just grind it out day after day because they love it and they believe in it, and they think that at some point that's gonna work out. I think that's really cool as well. So I hope that kind of answers the question. But I meet so many amazing distillers. It's such a wonderful like welcoming community. Um, I have like my distiller friends that I'll call up whenever you have a problem, and you know like who's going to be a good resource for what. So I don't know. I couldn't drop like just one name.
Would never ask you to do that.
No, that's a good answer. I mean, for me, it's a really good answer.
So since we're kind of talking Texas whiskey and Illinois whiskey, so something we always say is there's that regional taste and nose to everything. Like Texas, we've called it like a heatiness, not a peatiness, but a heatiness, a smokiness. There's people that said a Texas funk. So is there a defining factor to like an Illinois whiskey, or is there? And kind of on the same topic, how do you feel as though the climate up there affects it versus Kentucky or Texas or whatever? Just kind of a couple things there.
Well, Illinois is actually the original home of like bourbon and whiskey in the U.S. pre-Prohibition.
Okay.
Down in Peoria, they were producing more whiskey than anywhere else in the U.S. I think post-Prohibition,
Okay.
Kentucky like sort of
Stole it.
took over. Yeah, so hopefully downstate they bring that back. A lot of corn in Illinois, right? So bourbon totally makes sense in our neck of the woods.
For sure.
As far as unique flavors, though, honestly, that's a great question. I'm scratching my head. I'm trying to think of a profile. There's so many good distilleries in Illinois, but I feel like they're all pretty distinct. I don't really have a good answer. Ari, do you have anything?
No, actually, I haven't really thought about that before, and I'm trying to think like of a common thread that ties it all together, and I'm not really coming up with one. It's possible that in the coming years, like you'll start to see more of that regionality come to bear, but I feel like right now there's a lot of different distilleries doing a lot of different things, so I can't say that. I can definitely talk to you a little bit about the climate and how that affects whiskey production. Long story short, it takes longer. It's colder, man. I was actually down in Austin last year, and I was like when I flew out of Chicago and went down there, I was just shocked by how different it is. And the first thing that went in my head is like, man, I'm sure whiskey making like is awful in the summer, but also your barrels do a lot more in a shorter period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we usually use the fact that we get aged whiskey faster because of the climate here. Like how it takes y'all like a full quote unquote 4 years to get a 4 year. The climate here, I feel we get it in like 2, just because of the climate.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I remember I was once talking to I think Jared over at Balcones, and he once told me like we would be interested in we'd love to age our whiskey longer to see what happens, but like we just can't because 4 or 5 years it gets so oaky and tannic that we can't go past that.
Exactly.
There's kind of like a double-edged sword there. So yeah, I would say like here we have about like 4 warm months and a bunch of fairly cool months. I'd say you've been distilling for a while and tasting things from different climates. You realize that like whiskeys and rums and stuff that are aged in hotter climates, they kind of have a roundness. Like they don't have as many like distinct flavors. They kind of have it like all come together, which is amazing. But I think I've also tasted spirits that are produced in cool climates, and was one of the things I actually love about single malt Scotch is that sometimes you'll get like a barrel that just kind of like really has this thing that you can't even like you can't like put a word on. It like maybe one of them tastes like overwhelmingly like berries, or something else tastes like a lot like spice. So I feel like you get a lot more variation because of that cold climate.
Okay,
interesting.
I like that.
It's a good answer.
It's a very good answer. So I've got a curiosity question. Okay, being as we talked about how the property that you guys sit on used to be a brewery, is there any plans from you guys to take a quote unquote single malt that you're doing and kind of finish it in a quote unquote beer barrel type thing from you guys, or is that kind of something that you've thought about, not thought about, stuff like that?
Sure. So We do, like, there's so many cool brands that were produced here back in the day. We actually partner with one of our favorite local breweries down here, Evil Horse Brewing in Crete, Illinois. They make the Thornton Lager beer for us.
Okay.
There's some of the breweries Ari and I that we kind of dork out about in the city. One of them's like Old Irving. We've chatted with some of these guys about doing collaborations. There's some things coming down the pipe right now where I don't know, Ari, if you care to go into more detail about that. But,
Yeah, I mean, look, a little bit. You know,
we haven't announced it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Shh, we won't tell anybody.
Yeah, we're not going to tell.
We're currently talking with a brewery that we're really friendly with about doing a collab with them. Basically, you know, I'll take some of my freshly dumped bourbon barrels, give them immediately to the brewery. Plan is right now for them to actually make a rye wine, which is cool.
Okay.
Yeah, which I wanted to do because like you don't see it a whole lot.
Yeah.
I like barley wines, and I like rye as a grain, so I think that would be very, very cool. And then like the day that is dumped, we take it back and we'll put some single malt in there. So we've been doing that with a couple of other producers nearby. I've got a meadery that I gave them a bourbon barrel. They're dumping that in a couple of weeks, giving it right back to us. We'll take it the same day, and we're going to put single malt in it. We did the same with the cidery around here. So, you know, again, like I love this industry, and I think one of the coolest things is just that you can be collaborative and supportive together, and like everybody, you just make a lot of cool, unique things that way. So I feel like it's sometimes a little too transactional, where it's like, oh, you need barrels? Okay, you know, here's $200. Pay me, you know, write me a check. Whereas I'm like, I want to just lend you a barrel. I want you to make a value-added, cool product. Right. Just give it back to me. I'll do the same. We'll both hype each other up. Like, why wouldn't we do that?
And just to kind of expand on that, the past two whiskey fests that we've gone to down here in Texas, that's one of the coolest parts about being out there is watching all of the distilleries, or at least the people, you know, if there's a head distiller out there, owners, they all kind of mingle and talk and say, hey, would you like to collab on something? Let's get together and talk notes and this and that. It's really cool to see everybody kind of come together and it not be so, like you said, transactional. Like it seems like everybody in this industry, or most people, are very passionate about it and want to expand on everything that is going on. And that's something that's really cool to watch and see live and taking place.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I've never seen an industry quite like that. So it is amazing. I mean, I think there are certain people that do guard their information very closely. You know, there is that kind of like thing, like that Chartreuse monks.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that terminology. It's like, that's awesome.
You know, distilleries near me, they'll like call me up. They're like, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting a mash tun that's similar to yours. Like, can I come by on Wednesday and see yours and we'll chat?" You know, absolutely. For me, it's actually kind of an honor to be able to run our state guild, like our state distilling guild, and we focus mostly on legislative stuff. You know, getting licensing passed that we think is going to benefit us and benefit everybody. But it's also a great way to get together and be like, you know, in the pandemic, when things got really bad, nobody can get glass. So it'd be like a matter of coming together and be like, hey man, do you have any bottles? And if I send a truck, will you give me some pallets? And, absolutely. Like, it's just really supportive because we realize that the rising tide kind of lifts all ships. And us small distilleries, to a certain extent, we're competing together, but we're really not when you look at the overall market.
Now, to me, the smaller distilleries, it's more like a brotherhood kind of thing, is what I get from it. Because, I mean, like, you know, we have relationships with local ones here. You know, there's Texas Tail out of Galveston, which they're doing some interesting stuff. Acre out of Fort Worth, they're doing some interesting stuff as well. And I love to see the fact that you guys are kind of going that same route and you're open about, hey, if you want to collab, reach out. We'll work with you on some aspect. I love that. That part to me is the biggest thing about this industry, is the fact that it's so tight-knit and so, hey, let me help you, we'll both help each other kind of thing.
For sure.
If nothing else, we can all commiserate on, like, how long it actually takes to open a distillery. Because now nobody, people don't realize some of that stuff, or what it's like to sit on a barrel for 5 years.
Yeah, my checkbook ran out of pages. I don't know what else to do.
Right.
Yeah, when you start out, like there's a bunch of consultants, that hire.
Yes.
I remember asking. Some distilleries are open, like Ari said. A lot of them are, and then some of them are more guarded. But I remember asking some of the more guarded ones just kind of pointed questions and getting like, you can pay us $1,000 a day consulting fee, and we'll answer that question. Whereas then other distilleries like Journeyman, Bill over at Journeyman in Michigan was like so kind, just was like, yeah. Come in, I'll sit down with you, give you all the time in the world you need, and ask me any question. He's like the nicest guy in the world. So now whenever someone comes to us, we try to pay that forward, and it's when you meet these kind people, they make everything so much easier.
Yeah, right.
So
we did have a listener question that was previously asked whenever I announced that y'all were coming on the show, and I'm gonna say it wrong. Is it Lucifer?
Lucifer. Yeah, maybe down in Texas it's pronounced differently. I don't know.
I'm not.
Wait a minute. Are we talking like Satan, or what are we talking here?
That apparently, I don't know much about it. I didn't do that much research, but one of our listeners asked for, I guess, some more information, some background story on it. Just kind of, I guess, talk about it. Like for me, tell me what it is. Just kind of go over it a little bit if you don't mind.
It's clear.
It's very clear.
Is it a whiskey?
No.
Oh.
Ari, do you want to tell them about your absinthe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's the absinthe, and 100% of the credit for that name goes to Andy. So we had this short period where one of our stills was getting different. So I've made some absinthe in the past, and I figured it'd be a good time to use that. And we started doing an absinthe, and really, really enjoyed it, and thought it was cool. And the name itself comes from lushing, which is a phenomenon that'll happen in absinthe as well as pastis spirits, where at higher proof the oils from the botanicals are in solution, so it's perfectly crystal clear. When you start water and bring the temperature down as well, those oils come out of solution and it ends up looking cloudy or milky. The louche is from the French word for milk. Okay. And we started doing this, and we're just like, let's just do an absinthe. We'll throw it in the portfolio because I was already making it at the distillery. We really liked it, and I was already bottling it at because you bottle it as a high proof at 65%. And then Andy at some point was like, "What if we just called it Lucifer?" And he said it in that voice, and because we're already bottling it at 65%, then the next thing was like, well, why don't we just bottle it at 66.6%?
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
there's really kind of lean into.
The sad thing about it is conversations I've had with Andy, I could see Andy going, "Let's call it Lucifer."
Yeah. I can
literally stroking his beard, be like, "Let's call it this, and let's rate it."
Yeah, the commercial is just a black screen with red strobing lights. Come to the dark side, Lucifer.
Silly pun.
It's awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, my heart skipped a beat a little bit because a little backstory on me. I have an infatuation with clear whiskeys. I don't know why. I love them. And I thought when you pulled that out, I'm like, holy shit, it's a clear whiskey. And it has a really cool name to go with it.
Yeah. So, Andy, I'm kind of curious on your perspective of this, because I keep hearing Ari say, well, why not? We're already doing this, or I want to do this. What are your thoughts whenever he comes to you with these new ideas or new things that he wants to put out? Is there ever any hesitation? Do you want to see a business plan for this? What's just kind of your side of it?
The nice thing about having the bar and restaurant here at the distillery is we can test a lot of stuff in the tasting room, right? We have a cocktail program, and so Ari started producing the absinthe, and it's very similar to gin in that, there's this botanical profile that gives you a lot of creative freedom. So Ari was having a lot of fun running different versions of it, and he dialed this one in. We got such positive feedback. We eventually just started distributing it. We came up with a brand name, stuck with, it's a 375 milliliter format, just to so it's a little more approachable for like the home mixologist. But it's really resonating on prem at bars and restaurants in Chicago now. So it's a super fun product. I know. I mean, a lot of people you use it sparingly, right? Like it's usually put in an atomizer and like a Sazerac. You might like spray a little on top or do a rinse, but there's not a lot of push through, what we say in the industry, right? Like you don't, like when someone buys a bottle, they're not going out once a week to buy a new bottle of absinthe.
Yeah.
So, and maybe they are, who knows? But yeah. But so it's a fun product to make. It's just not like a traditional like hot seller, you know what I mean? So not a lot of people focus on them, and there's a lot of like artificially flavored ones out there. So we just thought there was like, there's not really a local absinthe in the Chicago market. So yeah, we just thought like all the stars sort of aligned, and yeah. So I don't really push back ever when Ari comes with an idea. Like he's an extremely talented distiller, and if he workshops something enough, like, and is at a position where he wants to move it forward, it's usually outstanding. I can't think of one product he's ever like propositioned where we've been like, nope.
Come on, there's got to be at least one where you're like, dude, that's crap.
I don't think.
Ari, you were talking about wine coolers, right?
Wow.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Zima.
He said Zima.
Yeah.
Are you holding? Well, no, he's my age, so yeah.
Yeah, he's your age, not my age. Let's be honest.
Oh man, that's too funny.
That is too funny.
And I don't want to keep y'all too long, so I mean, if y'all got time for just a couple more questions, and we can kind of wrap this thing up. So I've got a friend that I've met through social media, the whole whiskey scene thing. He is actually in the Chicago area this week. You've mentioned it a couple times. I believe it's called The Well is y'all's bar. Where can people find you if they're in the Illinois in the state of Illinois, wherever? How can they find you? How can they get directions to you? All that good stuff. Social media.
Sure. We're we're in Thornton, Illinois. We're about 25, 30 minutes south of Chicago proper. So just a short car ride at 400 East Margaret Street, Thornton, Illinois. Our web address is thorntondistilling.com, and you can follow us on social media at Thornton Distilling, spelled THORNTON, and then distilling. So, yeah, thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
And then, we have in terms of like where else you can find us, like if you're in Chicago, we're available in most of the city Binny's locations. And if you ever kind of want to know specifically where you can find our products, we've got a tab on our website, like where you can see where it is based on your zip code.
And that was going to be my second question. Are y'all distributed outside of Illinois? And if not, do y'all have plans to go further, or what's that look like moving into the future?
Yeah, good question. We right now we're in 4 states. We're in Illinois, Indiana, New York, New Jersey. SpiritHub.com distributes us. You can have it delivered to your doorstep in 48 states. So we do plan to expand. Right now, though, just with what we're sitting on, we figured, let's just focus on these markets, and we'll expand accordingly. We're in no rush or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But hopefully, God willing, one day we'll be available down in Texas. So
hey, we wouldn't be mad about it.
Would not at all. So I got a curiosity question. You do the roasted pecan and stuff to get your American pecan. I feel like there's kind of other stuff that you could pair with it. So, like, prime example, is there a possibility that we could see like a cherry pecan with like cherry wood and pecan wood kind of thing, or is that too far of a stretch? Well, you're welcome to use it. Just make sure I get my royalty check in the mail.
I just want a bottle if it happens.
Yeah, checks in the mail.
Yeah,
I like it. Checks in the mail. That's awesome. Because I know there's other distillers that we know.
And I mean, just to kind of expand a little bit, take that question how you want. Are there experimental barrels that are sitting behind you? Are there, works for things of that kind of finishes and wood finishes and smokes and all that good stuff in the future as well?
Sure, Ari, do you want to talk about some of the different barrels you do?
Yeah, because we got a couple of cool things in that room that Andy's sitting in right now. our flagship single malt, which we're hoping to debut like towards the end of this year, is going to be every batch we anticipate to be a blend of single malt in brand new charred and toasted oak barrels, ex bourbon, ex rye, and then ex rum. So, one of the great things about being able to work in a couple of different categories is I can dump a barrel of bourbon in the morning, and then or dump a barrel of rum, and then immediately fill it up with single malt and make. So you get the freshest possible barrel that you can, which to me as a distiller, like that gets me really excited because I know that when folks in Scotland bring in bourbon barrels, it's usually sitting on a freight ship, broken down, put on a ship, and they go out there and they spend a couple of months, and then they have to recooper them. The staves dry out. They have to add a bunch of water. But for me, I can fill it up like that and get all those great flavors. But there's a couple other fun things that we're working on. So a bunch of ex rum barrels. I got some you talked about cherry.
Mm-hmm.
I work with a local distillery that I really like that makes a cherry brandy.
Okay.
I'm bringing in some of those barrels, and I've got some that are aging with our single malt in it as well. That's pretty awesome. We have a 15-year-old Bardstown barrel that we fill with salt. That should be interesting.
Ooh.
We got one actually, the only barrel, and we get a lot of questions about this, but there's a barrel-aged gin, like a Geneva-style gin, that is right now 3.5 years old. And that started out as bourbon. Then the barrel was used for corn whiskey. Then we put the gin in it, which is now like a very pale gin, despite it being almost 4 years. When that's done, I'm going to put single malt in it and sit on it for like 12 years.
Nice.
And it's going to be it's going to pour like pale as straw. It's going to be super unique. So we do cool stuff like that when we're able to. Right now, we're talking with one of our distributors about bringing in some port barrels and maybe some interesting kosher red wine barrels.
Okay.
So we're open to everything, and like I said, I'm waiting on some mead barrels as well as some cider barrels as well.
Okay, I like that. That cider barrel thing kind of intrigues me a little bit.
So no Fireball barrels, no Malort barrels.
What? Shut no. What the hell?
Yeah.
One of the things that is really, really cool about single malt is that because you're not required to use a brand new barrel, you can have 100% of your maturation in one of these barrels.
Right.
And to me, I think that's super cool because I've tasted so many amazing single malts that are aged in like a specific wine barrel, a specific sherry barrel, or brandy or whatever. And it's just so cool to have 100% of your flavor coming from that, rather than a ton of like really aggressive new oak and then using another barrel as a finishing barrel. I think there's space for both, but that's one of the things that gets me excited about it.
Definitely. I've got one last question, I promise. So your single malt will be released toward the end of the year. Is it going to be under the Dead Drop name, or are you going to release it under Thornton Distilling, or is there other plans for that?
Good question. So
he's like, I'm not answering it, but good question.
Yeah. We've been chatting internally. We think it's going to come out under Thornton Distilling Company.
Okay.
We want to sort of distinguish it aside from the Dead Drop brand. And so it's to be determined, though. So we're working behind the scenes right now with one of the artists that we partner with, and we're ironing all of that out as we speak. So I can't really answer it.
No.
I like it. it.
Roy, do you have any closing questions?
I actually have one.
Okay,
and
what
I
is it?
just thought of it when Ari mentioned something about I think it was red wine barrels that he mentioned, maybe. So I'm curious, have you ever had the idea to finish a whiskey in a Moscato barrel? Because Moscato is kind of a dessert sweet wine, more or less. So you get the whiskey, it's kind of almost like bittersweet kind of. So I feel like it would be kind of the best of both worlds. You're welcome to use it if you hadn't had the idea. You're more than welcome to use it. But I was just curious because I see everybody use like sherry cask, port wine cask, like Angel's Envy, prime example. They started the whole wine finishing thing. But I'm curious because you never see anybody say, well, I'm going to put this in a Moscato, or I'm going to put this in a
Riesling.
Cabernet Sauvignon, or a Riesling, or whatever. So is there any kind of thought process with you guys on that? And if you don't want to talk about it, that's perfectly fine. We understand you have to keep some stuff secret.
We haven't really thought about that, but like I will say that I think that really absolutely has legs, because some of the coolest single malts that I've tasted in the past couple of years have actually been in sauternes.
Okay.
So it's like a noble. It's a where they use that noble rot technique of getting a very sweet dessert wine from a white wine grape.
Okay.
And the flavors that come through from that to single malt are just outstanding.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to me about Moscato, I see like a lot of parallels, and I'm like, I already know it works out well.
He's like, I have this plan. I love it. That's fantastic.
Well, guys, if you don't have anything else, I think we've kind of reached the end of our questions. I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Thank both of you.
Everybody in the Illinois
thanks for having
area,
us.
be sure to check out Thornton Distilling. Go to the well, have a drink.
I need this in a 6-pack. I'm just saying.
Y'all have a great night. Can't wait to talk again, hopefully. And cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you guys
sure.
so much for having us.
Thanks for coming on.
You got to make a trip up here to Chicagoland and stop by. We'd love to show you around.
It's on my bucket list.
For sure.
I want to go to Wrigley so bad because I'm a baseball guy at heart.
Yeah.
I want to go to Wrigley. It's on my bucket list, so I'm definitely gonna have to make the trip at some point in life.
For sure.
Right on, guys. Well, thank you again.
Oh,
All right, thank y'all. Y'all have a good evening.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye, y'all. That's awesome.
That was
those
really
guys
awesome.
are really cool.
Not just that. I mean, let's be honest.
That's a really good bottle because I've got
for a quote unquote pre-mix.
and I didn't want to say anything, while they're on the show.
Right.
I've got another bottle, or it's actually a little thing of a bottled old fashioned in my fridge, and it's been there for, I swear, at least a year.
Okay.
And I've only drank this much out of it.
Okay.
Because it's not good. It's way too sweet. It's way too artificial flavoring.
So saying that, comparing that to
that?
this,
I'd put that in my fridge and it would be gone by the weekend.
okay, I got you.
Because it's like they were saying, and that's something I do enjoy about what they're trying to do. They're putting whiskey in a bottle and then building on top of that.
Yes.
They're not just flavoring something
Right.
and calling it a flavored whiskey or hoping that it, reaches out to everybody. Like when I truly was worried whenever I saw pecan whiskey, and I was like, oh shit, here we go.
But I feel like they're kind of doing, and to compare it to something we've had, I feel like they're doing the same thing with their pecan whiskey as like Acres doing with their Texas smoked.
They're just taking it Thornton's taking it one step further, and
Yes.
like he said, they're actually adding
Roasted pecans, yes.
the pecan oils.
Yes.
So it's still no artificial flavoring,
Right.
but they are adding a slight flavoring to it, which is fine as long as it tastes like whiskey. I'm not mad about it.
Which we're in agreement. This tastes like
it's
whiskey.
what's in my cup,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I'm about to down glass 2.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm already.
Whereas like the peanut butter whiskey that's sitting in my cabinet, I took a tiny little sip out of it and was like, oh God, no,
Nope.
never again,
Never.
and it's gonna sit there forever. So, but this, I could see myself pouring multiple glasses of this, and like you said, sitting outside on a fall evening around a campfire. Not gonna be mad about it.
No, to me that's a bonfire's best friend. I said it earlier. I still stick by that statement. That's a bonfire's best friend.
Oh, for sure. But shout out to those guys. They were really awesome to talk to.
Super
Both of them were
awesome,
super
yes.
fun. Both of them had some really good information. They said a little bit without saying too much. And
Right.
you gotta love that aspect of it.
You gotta love
and they
that.
kind of, you gotta love the chemistry between two guys like that, where he can make a little bit of a joke, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna say anything was bad," but
right.
I mean, it felt like they've worked together and been together and are on the same page long enough.
They feel like us.
They feel like us.
Okay. Just making sure we're on the same
But that's
page.
really fun. I mean, that's really cool to see.
Because I didn't want to have to give you a blue card.
Oh, gosh. Back to this whole pickleball thing.
Yes. My dude Pablo
All
Tellis
right,
got a
you
blue card
do
this
that.
weekend.
I'm going to step out for a second.
He got a blue card for arguing some crap. He didn't flip anybody off this week, which was always a good thing. So I would love, and I know it's never going to happen. It might happen. I don't know. I may have to reach out to him. I would love to have Pablo tell us on this show via collab cam, just because of the fact that I'd love to pick his brain about, hey, what makes you tick? Because of the simple fact that he seems to be like the dentist. And I told Bucky this on a day of show call that we normally do. To me, Pablo Tellus is like the Dennis Rodman of pickleball, except he doesn't wear a dress.
What'd you say?
I said Pablo Tellus is the Dennis Rodman of pickleball without wearing a dress.
I thought you said he wore a dress.
No, did not wear a dress.
A little nervous.
No, not a little nervous. But like I said, I'm glad I didn't have to blue card you during any of that. But it could have been worse. I could have gave you an orange card.
No, I mean they were really awesome. They answered all the questions. We had a good time. And let's if you want, we can kind of stick around the whole bourbon news thing.
Let's go with it.
There was some pretty exciting news over this past week.
Yes. And I literally, when I saw this, I sent it to you automatically. I was like, Bucky, did you know?
And I was at work, and I hadn't even had a chance. We're gonna scoot them over.
Yes, that's fine.
Scoot them over.
Scoot.
We're gonna share the table, guys.
Yep.
So,
Interesting.
Penelope Bourbon has been bought by MGP.
I love the fact that MGP actually turned around and invested in a company like Penelope.
Yeah. So, just to kind of a little bit of the facts on this thing.
Okay.
So, it's $105 million up front. Like, as soon as they sign the paperwork in June, because nothing's been signed yet. This is a deal in principle.
Gotcha.
It's $105 million up front. And that's what was reported.
Okay.
Now, there's an opportunity to earn another $111 million.
So you're telling me it's incentive-laden?
This could be a total of like $215 or $16 million deal.
That's right up there with the Alec Bradley thing that we talked about, because I want to say it was like in the 170
because
range?
It's incentive based basically. If they reach a certain number of, I guess, cases sold, this, that, and the other, they have an opportunity to make another $110 or $11 million on top of the 105.
Nice.
So Mike and Danny aren't making out too bad on this whole deal.
It doesn't sound like it, no.
But how cool is that for those two guys who came into this and busted their tail and have done it in an awesome way? They took social media.
They did it the right way.
Right.
Let's say it like that. They did it the right way.
They didn't have a Super Bowl ad. They didn't have this, that, and the other. But they took guys on social media and were like, do it.
Yes. And they did.
We have faith in our product.
So which one's on the table?
So this is the Barrel Strength Barrel Select from Longhorn Liquor.
Okay.
I'm excited. I love this one.
Yeah. I'm interested, but it's going to have to wait a minute. Sorry.
So
I didn't know it was coming out. Otherwise,
you're good.
Wait, there's more.
I just wanted to have something on the table. So I got the opportunity today to talk to the Texas marketing manager. That bogey is going to be easy pickings with what they have scheduled.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I didn't get all the details, Kevin. That's Bowling Back 40, by the way.
I thought that's who that was. Because
if you have a few more details on what those bogeys are to get to that full $110 or $11 million, feel free to post them. I'll read them out loud. Everybody will know.
Right.
But I got a chance to talk to JD. He's the Texas marketing manager for
he
Penelope.
Is. Yes, we like JD very much.
JD's been with Penelope for a little over 2 years. He actually opened up Arkansas for them and then Texas.
Okay.
He's originally from Arkansas, moved to Texas in 2005, has been here ever since. So he's a Texan.
He's a Texan.
Yeah. So
he's not Texas adjacent like Ari.
No,
he's
Texan. He's Texan. I don't care what you say.
Gotcha.
Just kind of a little bit of a backstory in addition to that. So something I thought was interesting, because you drive for a living, basically.
I do, yes.
He bought a brand new vehicle in August and has already put almost 39,000 miles on it.
So my work truck has 60. And it's a newer work truck that I got about probably a year ago.
Yeah. So y'all are pretty much on that same pace.
Yes, very much so.
But that's nuts to me. To put 39,000 miles on a vehicle in just a few months is crazy.
So I'll tell you this, because you remember when I had my Jeep, right?
Yeah.
When I bought my Jeep brand new from Texas Direct, it had 55,000 miles on it. When I got rid of it about 3.5, almost 4 years later, 115,000 miles.
Driving.
Yes. Work miles.
That's nuts. For me, I don't drive for a living. I
Right.
drive to work, park, and then.
That's why I love kind of what
So
I
when
do
he
now,
said it,
because
and-
it's a running joke that my truck had for the year that my truck is. It has the least amount of miles of anyone.
Yeah,
I've
because
seen.
you literally drive 30 seconds to your other truck.
2 miles one way, 2 miles back, 4 miles
exactly.
round trip. Yeah.
But so just to kind of hit on a few things that me and JD were able to talk about during this whole thing, it seems like everybody involved with Penelope is super excited about this. He said they were actually just up there right before the announcement.
Okay.
And didn't really know anything about it. He said everybody had a great time anyway. And then the news came out, it got released, and just everybody was super duper excited. It's going to mean great things. Of course, I wanted to know, how does it affect him being localized to Texas? He said nothing's really going to change for him.
Okay.
Everything's going to pretty much stay the same. It's obviously going to open up more territory.
Right.
Because obviously at this point, their production's going to grow.
Yes.
So it'll open up a little more territory. He'll have bigger opportunities in that way. He said the biggest thing is really at this point, Mike and Danny are just going to have to answer to somebody now.
Yeah.
As opposed to being their own person and their own boss. He said really the only thing that changes is they now have somebody
now have a
one
boss.
step above
Yeah.
them that they have to answer to, which isn't that big of a deal.
That's a lot.
Rio just released. Yes, they did.
Don't have the bogey numbers Rio just released, blah, 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 blah. An American light whiskey adjacent.
So that was
Summertime. Okay. Valencia round 2. Okay.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, you can't imagine. So,
Can we get bowling back to collab cam in? I feel like this would be a really good kind of thing that we need to work on in the future.
so that's something that, and obviously, as soon as we stopped talking about the MGP merger, he immediately said it. You want to know about Rio, don't you? I said, well, JD,
Duh.
tell me.
Distribution roadmap is expanding 2 to 3-fold.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And that's one of the things he said. Obviously, that's going to open up states that we're not in.
Right.
And I was telling him about people that I'm quote unquote friends with through social media, whiskey
Right.
groups, things like that have said, hey, I need to see you in Michigan, or hey, I need to see you in Virginia, this, that, and the other. And he was like, that immediately opens up all of those
I'm
states
sure, yes.
much quicker than we may have been able to get there
Right.
without this MGP merger. So, but a couple of details on it. So MGP last year bought Luxco.
Okay.
So there's a Luxco division of MGP.
Yes.
And the Luxco division is what Penelope is going to be under. So
Okay.
technically it's Luxco owning Penelope, MGP being the parent company.
Right.
So it's going to be under Luxco. Luxco is going to open up Remus, Yellowstone, Rebel, Blood Oath, all of that stuff. So
Okay.
that was one of the biggest things he said was we have basically 3 mash bills that we concentrate on now. That's what we get.
As far
He
as
said-
Penelope itself.
Right, Penelope
Okay.
prior to this. He said that's going to open up so many different mash bills. Can we go heavy weeded? We're going to, and something he mentioned was and I don't know how much of this I can say, but there's a 10-year weeded. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
For sure. They've already
basically MGP went and bought their own product back.
Yes.
But what they're buying is the intellectual property.
Yes.
They're buying all of the ideas for
The
Rio,
mash bills, all
Valencia.
that
Well, they're
stuff,
not even
yeah.
buying because it's their mash bill. It's
Okay.
MGP mash bill. They're buying 3 different MGP mash bills: 99% corn, 37% rye, and smaller weeded.
Okay.
one. I can't remember exactly what it is. So it's all MGP mash bills, but they're buying the intellectual property. They're buying the barrels that they already have.
Kind of like the
what's already
Tokai and the
bottled.
Valencia and all that type
Right.
stuff.
They're buying the idea of Penelope, the Rio.
Yes.
That idea that was Mike and Danny that said, let's take a honey barrel and a VDN barrel and let's combine them and call it Rio. That's what they're buying. They're buying that idea. So that's really cool. It's kind of funny that they're buying their own barrels
Well,
back.
I'm not going to lie. If they want to take a Moscato barrel and refer to it as the Go Hawk Gentleman, I'm more than happy to sign off on that.
But that was something I thought was really cool was, like there's a 10-year weeded coming down. Like it's a stated 10-year weeded bourbon that's coming down the line. It's supposed to be talked about more and released or announced kind of this upcoming summer.
Gotcha.
But and that's the biggest thing. It's all about the resources that are going to be gained with
Well,
MGP.
yeah, because, I mean, let's be honest. We'll compare this to something we talked about recently, Diageo buying Balcones. It's kind of the same thing a little bit. The only difference is that MGP is actually buying their own juice back just under a different quote-unquote brand.
So, and that was kind of something that he talked about was, so Rio, going back to the Rio thing, he said this is probably the most limited release that they've had. Like, it's legitimately...
Are we getting a bottle?
No. I'm trying. But
JD.
It's so limited.
I need you to do work.
Like, and Texas got 20% of the, like, total allocation of everything.
I feel we should have got 25.
Oh, God. But instead of somebody like Specs, who's a giant player in Texas, getting 19% of that 20, it's now being dispersed. That Rio specifically is being dispersed equally.
Okay, well,
so
that's
those
a good
big
thing.
players
Yes.
that might get 15 cases of 20 are only going to get 1 to 5, and the small guys are going to get 1 to 5. And they're trying to spread it out.
Everybody's going to be on an equal playing field.
They want everybody to have a chance at Rio because it's so limited. He said, if you see a bottle, wherever you're at, if you see a bottle, buy it. And he said that about all of their special releases, whether it's Valencia, American Light Whiskey, Tokai. Thank you. He said, if you see those past the core 4, which are the white label, Architect, Barrel Strength, the red label, they've got their core 4. If you see something beyond those 4, he said, buy it now when you see it because it's still limited.
Okay.
And they're still going to do volumes. So Valencia Volume 2, Valencia Volume 2 will be coming down the pipeline.
Okay.
But it's still going to be a limited time offering.
Right.
So buy it if you see it.
Okay.
But MGP opens up a lot more production for that,
I like it.
which is really cool. He said they do have a call on Monday with the COO of MGP.
Okay.
So he said, obviously, we'll find out a lot more information. We'll get some organization, whatever the case may be. So that's upcoming. Like I said, he reiterated it. There's been nothing signed.
Cheaper said 6.
Yeah.
What?
So 6,000 bottles of Rio
Okay.
were released. So take 6,000, whatever 20% of that is. Texas got that many. That's a big number if you think about the grand scheme of things.
Yes. I need JD to reach out. I need JD in the hot seat.
That'd be a ton of fun.
Wouldn't it, though? I feel it would.
He's got a tasting in Westlake tonight.
Okay.
So he's doing that. He did another one. Dang, I can't remember what he said now. But he's in the Houston area. He did a tasting earlier today. He's doing one tonight. And something I thought was really cool. I said it earlier, but congratulations again. He's got a 3.5-month-old son.
Nice.
And he said one of the biggest reasons he stayed with Penelope was because of the family orientation. He said, I had other brands calling me. I had other brands that I could have gone to easily.
Yeah.
But it's that family aspect. It's the close-knit. It's the awesome people that are working for Penelope that kept him there. And he said, I don't think that's going to change even with this.
Okay, I'm glad you added that because I was literally fixing to ask, does he anticipate a change?
And that's what he said. He said it honestly, talking about it with everybody, it feels more like a partnership versus one of these big companies like Diageo coming in.
Well, not just that. I mean, I can relate to it in my own right. So literally when I started in my distributor world, I worked for dryers exclusively.
Right.
Nestle comes in, hey, we're going to buy dryers.
Our turn.
So I get what JD's going through.
And that's what he was saying. You know, it's not like Pernod Ricard coming in or whoever coming in and buying somebody and just being like, all right, my turn.
Yep.
Everybody gone.
Yep.
We're doing it different. He said it feels like a partnership.
Okay.
And he said, and so I kind of, as I was wrapping up the conversation, I was like, look, I want to be honest with you. I'm a nobody. And we do a show that we get a few viewers while we're live, and they're very, very interactive. And then we have people that come back and we watch it. And we get not outrageous numbers, but we get good numbers for what we are. Consistent numbers for who we are, where we're from. We're not in Kentucky.
No.
So I feel like
we're not even in Houston.
I'm a nobody, but I've had people like Matt talk to me and interact with me. I've had people like Wendy who took over Matt's old position as Matt got a promotion. Congratulations again, Matt.
Right.
You know, she's reached out to me and responded back to my direct messages. People like JD, you know, who I thought I needed to explain further who I was at Southeast Texas Whiskey Festival, and he was like, "No, I already know who you are."
I already know who you are.
And we go back and forth, and he was like, "Yeah, give me a call. Let's talk about it." I mean,
He's
don't.
like, you're the one that makes sense. You're not the goofy looking one with the hat.
Those people at that position with that company don't have to do that.
No, they don't.
And I wanted him to understand, and I wanted to reiterate that with him and with Wendy whenever I talked to him, and they both said the same thing. Penelope is the people's bourbon. It doesn't matter who you are. There are no nobodies to us.
Do they have that put on the bottle? Because
They
they
might-
don't,
they
need
better.
to. Yeah,
It's
for
the
real.
people's bourbon. Like, let's put a championship belt
I'm
around
sold
it.
on it already,
Right.
and I don't even. I mean, I don't. I like Penelope, but I don't consider myself like a Penelope head like you.
Right. I'm a put me in the Penelope posse.
Yes.
Hashtag Penelope posse.
Is that what they call it?
I don't know.
Okay.
But we're calling it that now.
I like it.
But that's the thing. And whenever he said it, I was like, you're right. Because they all do. They interact with Matt, especially. Doesn't have to, but he interacts with everybody on TikTok.
Nice.
And they've both reached out to me whenever I've reached out to them. They've both been awesome. Everybody that I've talked to over there has been really cool. And you don't find that with anybody. If I guarantee you right now, if I emailed one of those big companies with a horse or a buffalo or whatever on it, I'd get some automated response.
You would.
And I don't. It's not who they are, and I think it's really cool. And they've got I have a love affair with Penelope.
Love affair is putting it nicely, sir. You have an obsession.
I do.
Like you're borderline stalking Penelope.
But I'm excited. I've already reached out to a higher up at our favorite local liquor store to let me know as soon as one hits the shelf because I'm getting one.
Okay.
But I do. I'm excited for him. I'm excited. And
I need to.
JD
We
seems
need to
like
do
he
a
is too.
hashtag liquor store live.
We ain't done it in a while.
No, we ain't done. We ain't done a liquor store live. Period. We've never done live.
Well,
from
not
a liquor
live
store.
from a liquor store, but we've the special releases.
Yeah, we've done a couple.
But it's hot in here, dog.
I'm sorry.
I'm getting excited too. That doesn't
sorry.
help.
The producer couldn't come turn the air conditioner
Yeah.
on early.
No joke.
I didn't walk in the door till 6:30. I honked at you when I was driving by and you were already home, which is usually kind of. Matt just responded to DMs. I don't even.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have a podcast.
Okay.
Like that's how cool are those people? Like that, he didn't have to talk to that guy.
No, but I love the fact that they.
And I never once mentioned that I did a podcast until
Okay.
later on.
Okay.
Like I didn't. That wasn't my first email. Like, hey, I do a podcast. Please talk to me.
You don't do the standard one
No,
like I do when
no,
I reach out to
exactly.
people. I literally put, hey, this
They
is blah, blah, blah.
interacted with me as a normal guy. And
Okay.
then it turned into, well, I do this and I do that. We're going to be out at Southeast Texas Whiskey Fest, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, now they all probably know, but I mean, that's not how it started.
Well, I'm not going to lie. If JD's listening, you need a Penelope shirt.
Oh, yeah.
You need a Penelope
I
shirt.
do need a Penelope
But
shirt.
if he wants to throw one in a 3X, I'm not gonna not wear it.
Yeah. No
I'll say
joke.
it like that.
But yeah, no, for sure. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what happens, what the future brings. Obviously, if it opens up more production for things like Rio, Valencia, Barrel
Tokai.
Selects, Tokai. If there's a round 2 of American Light Whiskey, I'd be A-okay with that. But
Okay.
I doubt it because that was like a 13-year, and I don't think there's any 13-year light whiskey floating around anymore. But who knows?
Well, there's floating around. It's just some collector's got it sitting on his
Yeah.
shelf, not open.
And I regret passing on one a few months ago, but it is what it is.
yeah, shit happens. It's
For
fine.
sure, for sure.
So, do we have any other business at hand?
I don't know, do we?
I feel like
I feel like you're hinting at something.
I am hinting at something. I don't like LeBron.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like LeBron.
Didn't you just say LeBron was better than...
No.
Wasn't that you that said LeBron was better than Steph?
No.
Come on, man. Why do you not like...
I don't like either one of them, honestly.
What's the deal?
Steph just seems to me like Steph's trying too hard.
Okay.
Steph wants to be the guy.
Steph should be the guy of this generation.
He should be the guy. But Steph also puts a lot of emphasis on the fact that he wants to be the guy.
Okay.
LeBron's just trash. I don't like LeBron. Now, I do like the kid out of New Orleans. Was it Zion Williams or whatever? I do like that kid.
Okay.
That kid doesn't say a whole lot. You never hear about him.
Well, the problem is, and the reason you never hear about him is because he's always hurt.
True. He is always hurt.
I don't think he's played more than 10 games in a freaking season yet.
Yeah.
But
So let me ask you this, because it made me think of something I saw on Facebook. Do you think that kids in general going into these select teams and playing ball year round and all this other stuff, do you think that makes them more injury prone or less injury prone?
I think the problem is where the game of basketball is today, along with, like you said, they're focusing and they're specializing in one sport. That's an issue. Because you go back and you look at all of these great athletes from our generation.
They were always two-sport guys.
Multi-sport athletes. Yeah, I played basketball and football. Hell, I tried to run track, but my coach yelled at me.
Yeah.
I mean, they wanted to do those things. I grew up playing basketball and baseball as a young kid before I got to school league where I was short, fat, and white and I couldn't play basketball anymore. But I still tried out, but I played football and baseball at that time.
See, I played football, basketball, and baseball.
But
I also went to a considerably smaller high school
I tried to play tennis, and I tried to play tennis, but I couldn't because it conflicted with my baseball schedule.
Right.
So
that was the same way with me in golf.
But there's too many kids that are specializing and focusing on one sport.
Yeah.
That I think it's an issue. You're losing a certain character. You're losing a certain. There's something about it.
I agree.
Get hit one time in pads, and then go play basketball.
Get hit one time without pads and go play basketball. I mean,
well, that's what I'm like. Just now, it's all about the flop.
Because we talk about quote unquote the combine, which is the quote unquote underwear Olympics, as I like to call it.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, those guys aren't interesting. Okay, the Miami Heat just kicked on. Which, not gonna lie, I would like to see Miami make a deep run to the finals.
Miami leads 3-2. Is that what it says?
Yes, Miami does lead 3-2.
So if they win
and they're
this,
up 4 right now in the fourth. So if they win tonight, it's over.
But I mean, look at the basketball atmosphere today, and you see all of these guys that are flopping.
Yeah, you see a lot. Yeah,
flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they throw an arm up to get a rebound, and somebody's like, "Oh my god!"
You know what that is, don't you? Soccer syndrome.
Right. It happened. I mean, that's where you noticed it first was soccer.
Yes.
They go to slide. They're 3 inches away from you, and the guy's like, "Oh!"
And grabs his leg or something.
Oh!
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
That's a nice leg you're showing off on there, by the way, too. Yeah. Nice and white.
Yeah. I mean, shit, the sun ain't been out in months.
No, it hadn't been out.
It's May, and we can't see sun in Southeast Texas.
The funny thing about it, the sun will come out tomorrow.
No, probably not.
I bet it will.
I bet it rains within the next 4 days.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to rain Sunday.
See?
Sunday. Sorry. See, that was a flop. Look at that.
See?
That was a flop.
Didn't even touch him.
Nobody touched it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
I'm hurt forever now.
Yeah,
There's people questioning that. Did you see the Anthony Davis or AD? I think that's
with him getting elbowed in the face,
and all of a sudden he was wheeled out in a freaking wheelchair.
Too, yeah.
Why, dude? Come on.
This is why I like '90s basketball, man. I like the
This is why I don't watch basketball.
I like the bad boy Pistons. I like the Celtics with Parrish and McHale and.
I mean, yeah, it's nice to watch the playoffs. It's cool to see who wins the championship, all that good stuff. But I mean, there's a reason I can't get into it.
I can't either.
But it looks like there is a possibility that 2 teams are going to blow a 3-1 lead.
Yes. La Flop being one of them.
The LA Flops.
Yeah, the LA Flops. Barbecue sauce hunting. Hey,
yeah.
So wait a minute. That's bowling back, right?
Yeah.
So if he gets a chance, my wife's cousin in Kentucky makes a barbecue sauce that is done with Old Smoky. He is talking about barbecue sauce.
Talking about barbecue sauce.
Oh, okay, I get it now. I just saw barbecue sauce.
Because I asked him if there's something.
The fat
if
guy
you see
in
some
between-
good barbecue sauce up there that I don't get in Texas.
Okay,
Hit me
okay,
up.
I get it now. I thought that.
Olive oil,
I
sir.
thought y'all were okay. You should have said that instead of
No,
barbecue sauce.
I mean, we're fat guys. I used barbecue sauce.
That's why I thought barbecue sauce because I'm a fat guy.
Night, Kevin. Have a great evening. Enjoy time with your family. Hit me up tomorrow if you feel like it.
Make sure you find really good barbecue sauce.
But continue your story. I'm curious now.
I don't even remember what I was saying. I got distracted.
Your cousin in Kentucky?
Oh, yeah. She makes a good barbecue sauce with Old Smoky moonshine.
Oh, okay.
I gave you bottles of it.
I have a bottle.
Okay. I thought y'all were legitimately talking about barbecue sauce.
Your inner fat kid got so excited.
It did. I was like, yes, barbecue sauce.
Oh, shit. I'm tickled.
You're always tickled. You were tickled the first time I mentioned Third Monkey. And we put that on
I
the
like
shirt.
that one.
I don't know if we can put barbecue sauce on a shirt.
That was funny, though. You went full barbecue sauce.
I did.
Oh, shit.
Full barbecue sauce. Wasn't even a question about it. Was not even a question
Shit. That's too funny.
about barbecue sauce. God. Barbecue sauce. My phone is like blow.
I'm telling you.
What is your why is your wife commenting to me?
I don't know. You
Well,
tell me, brother.
I mean, do you want me to tell you or do you
I will
not?
punch you in the throat.
He's like, I will straight throat punch your ass.
So, anything else? You got anything else?
It's somebody's birthday. That's what. Oh, it's okay.
Obviously, my big thing and my big one was the Penelope news. But
I covered Pablo Tellez
yeah.
in his blue card. Not to be confused with blue balls, but blue card. The only thing that could have been worse, he'd got an orange card.
Let's see what else. Is there anything else happening in the bourbon world?
God, dog, really?
My bad, dog.
We're trying to be professional, sir.
No, we're not.
We're dealing with some serious shit here. We got to figure out how to take the curse off of Jose's mitt. We got to figure out what kind of china to get Jimmy and Millie for their wedding gift. And Nuke's all kind of messed up because his old man's filming him in the stands. We're dealing with some serious shit here.
Yes. Let's see.
I've been waiting to drop that all day, by the way.
BR Distilling Company is now offering tours at their distillery.
Who is BR?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just reading some news. Hirsch Selected Whiskeys announces the single barrel double oak.
I need Hirsch to send me some of that.
I've heard the Horizon is decent for their normal offering. I've heard it's pretty good.
Can we tag them? Maybe. I don't know.
Chattanooga Whiskey announces experimental batch number 31.
Okay.
It is red, white, and blue grist. What is grist?
I don't know.
Grist. Google it. Let's see. Scientists have discovered the perfect amount of water to add to your whiskey.
None. Grist.
Oh, that's big news. Yeah, Grist. Mark Brown will step down as CEO and president of Sazerac in July.
What? It's about damn time.
Dang, Gina.
Well, I mean, they screwed Republic, okay? Let's be honest. They screwed Republic. I have friends of mine that work at Republic. They screwed Republic.
Ghost Coast Distillery.
Grain that is ground into flour.
Oh, okay.
Really?
That's it? So any grain.
Useful material, especially to back up an argument.
Oh, okay.
What?
So, well, if it's red, white, and blue grist, I'm sure it's blue corn
That makes
that
sense.
has been ground into flour, corn flour.
That makes sense.
That would make the most sense, at least to me.
Can we talk about how Oxford Dictionary is a bunch of shit?
What what do you mean?
Because that's literally the definition I just read you is from Oxford Dictionary.
Okay, well, I mean, that's the definition. What do you want them to do?
No. I want them to be correct.
Well, that is correct. It could be any grain ground into flour.
In a flour mill, grist is a grain that has been separated from its chaff in readiness for grinding.
There you go. Sure, I like it.
Do you even know what a chaff is? Me neither. Don't feel bad.
I get chafed. Because I'm fat.
I think it spells the same way.
Probably.
CHAFF?
I think so.
Okay, just checking.
You know, fat guy problems.
It's been a long day.
It has, but I needed this tonight, man.
You and me both. I've been miserable.
It's been a hell of a week.
I've been stressed out.
How's everything going?
I'm waiting on callbacks.
How's that going? I don't want to mention any names, but
somebody's mother died,
like
so everything got pushed back kind of a week.
I was going to say, I feel like it's been a month since the last time we talked about this.
So I can tell you right now, this process started February 25th.
And I've pretty much gotten weekly updates until nothing happens, and then it turns into 2 weeks, and then I'm like, bro, what's going on?
Well, put it, R.I.P.
It's been 2 years.
So we'll just say it like this, R.I.P. Mrs. Palmer.
Okay.
She passed. That kind of pushed the process back.
Obviously. I mean, that's kind of understandable. But I just feel like, I'm like, dude, like 6 months ago we talked about this. What the hell is going on?
I feel like it's close. I feel like the odds are forever in my favor.
Are they?
I feel like it.
Do you volunteer as tribute?
No, I've always volunteered as tribute.
That was what started this whole thing. I volunteered.
Yes. That's what started a lot of things. That's what started a 4-year journey that is city council right now, my friend. I volunteered as tribute.
Exactly.
Splash pad's rocking, though.
Yeah, I heard there was a little technical difficulty.
A little technical, but I mean, that's to be expected.
Oh, yeah, it's a brand new build. How'd the opening go?
Opening was fantastic. We had pizza, snow cones.
I saw you holding the ribbon.
Yeah, I held the ribbon.
Very nice.
So, at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And people were there waiting and playing?
No, there was 2. Well, first of all, it's no charge.
Right.
It's a free thing.
Right.
But, no, there was 2. When I left at 9 o'clock to go get donuts and stuff for my kids, there was 2 other kids there.
Oh, okay.
When I came back at 11.
I thought I saw kids in the background of that photo.
No, when I came at 11, it was like a toga party.
Really?
There were a bunch of kids.
Hell yeah. That's good. I'm glad.
There was kids starting at 11:30 today on a school day. Which, truancy's a real thing. Hell with it. Truancy's a real thing. But yeah, so from 11:30 to 6:30 consecutive today. Pickleball's a thing. Oh, I have an update on that too.
Are we open and running with that?
We have, and not only that, we had some individual, which I will rename nameless, that took pink chalk and drew their own pickleball court.
Shut up.
I'm serious as a heart attack.
Have you been forcing her to watch
No.
pickleball videos?
No, it's not. It's nobody related to me.
Oh, okay.
This is a different incident by somebody else in the community. We'll say it like that.
That's funny, though.
It is.
Pretty cool.
And not just that, it's sparked a lot of budget conversation where there may be 2 permanent pickleball courts now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Pickleball USA, you're welcome. Pickleball USA. That's the governing body.
It's not a thing.
It is a thing.
No.
Look it up.
Pickleball USA, huh?
USA Pickleball. Yes, look it up.
Shit, you guys, this is too funny.
MLP, yes. PPA, yes.
Ryan, if you're watching, had no idea. You could have gave me a heads up that Lucifer was an absinthe.
Oh, that's where you got that. I was wondering who sent you that because you're like, we got a viewer question. I'm like,
wasn't absinthe illegal at one point or something? You weren't supposed to drink it.
But I feel that's what the drink.
And why is his clear?
I don't know, but
I thought absinthe was green.
I'm not.
Am I mistaken in that?
The clear whiskey guy in me was
you got many girl boner there.
Girl boner, nothing. I could have punched a hole in that wall. That's how bad it was.
He put that on the table. You said, "What is that?"
What?
But and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I thought absinthe was supposed to be green.
I think it started out green.
What gives it the green color, and why was his clear? And I should have asked him. I guess it's too late now.
I'll text Andrew tomorrow. Why is your absinthe clear as opposed
to green?
What
makes it green?
Yeah, what makes absinthe green?
I don't know.
I'll give you. I'll give you Andrew's number. It's fine.
All right.
My ear itches.
Well, itchy it.
I did. I itchied it.
Itchied.
I feel Miami's fixing to win this.
Yeah, it's pretty much over.
I wouldn't say pretty much.
No, there's still 5 minutes.
Where's Jimmy Butler at? Drain it. Oh. I like Jimmy Butler.
Brick house.
I like Jimmy Butler.
I like him better. What else you got, man?
I like him better than LeBron.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't like LeBron.
Who is your favorite NBA player
All time? Ooh. That's a tough one, man. It really is, because I like a lot of what Jordan did.
Right. I mean, everybody has respect and love Jordan.
But I also like
but
a lot
other
of
than
what,
Jordan.
Larry Bird.
Okay. Are you old enough to?
Yes, very much so.
Wow.
Yeah. Magic
That just
Johnson,
seems crazy
yes. to me. Kobe. Like
Okay.
Kobe.
I like the Kobe pick.
Tim Duncan.
There you go. Now,
Okay.
now you're talking about
Yeah.
language. Muggsy Bogues.
Nah, to me,
'Cause
if
he
you're
was
gonna
tiny
go, if
and
you're
he
gonna
was a
go
ball
guard, I
handler.
liked more Stephon Marbury, Steve Francis type guy. That's me.
Steve Nash.
Nash was
I'm also
good.
younger than you too.
True.
So Muggsy Bogues, Steve Nash, like
But I
these
remember
short
like
fellas
John
were,
Stockton, Jeff
Well, yeah,
Hornacek.
I remember John Stockton, but these short guys that could play were kind of my deal, and that's why I make the argument for Steph. I think because he's a little bit smaller, he's a shooter, he's a baller, he wants to be a little bit taller. He drives a 6'4" Impala. I feel like I'm going to get copyright laws here in a minute. But that was really cool for me to kind of grow up watching. And I like that. But like the Tim Duncan, the David Robinson.
But I also
those
remember
guys
like
were really fun,
but
too.
see, here's the thing. I also remember like the Bad Boy Pistons with Rodman, Lambeer, Isaiah Thomas,
Reggie Miller
Joe
was a big one for me. I loved Reggie Miller.
I still love the fact
draining
that
threes.
Reggie Miller literally pulled like, what was it, 12 points in 30 seconds?
Something crazy.
Some ridiculous
And he just
number.
didn't look like he should be able to play. He's tall and like his arms were like this big around.
I like John Starks.
That's not a bad pick either.
I like John Starks
That's
because
not a bad
he's
pick.
tougher than Woodhaller's
He
ass.
was.
I mean, let's be honest. John Starks, Larry Johnson,
Yeah.
Alonzo Mourning.
There were some just really good
Penny
players back
Hardaway.
then. Penny Hardaway.
Penny Hardaway was a
That
good
was a
one.
good one too.
Penny Hardaway,
Man,
Kurt Thomas.
there were just so many good players back in the
Kurt
day.
Thomas was a legit big man that could shoot outside from a small-ass college. Because let's be honest, when Kurt Thomas came out, TCU was not a basketball
Yeah,
powerhouse.
No, God, no.
So
That's interesting.
it is very
It's crazy because I don't think I could name that many players playing today.
Oh, God, I could. And I don't even
Yeah,
like basketball, but I still could. Well, I mean, you got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Yeah, you got those three. Then you go to Djokovic out in Denver. You go to Luka
In Dallas.
in Dallas.
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Okay, so maybe I could.
James Harden in Philadelphia, which they're in a game 7 right now with Boston.
So are there
Jason
more
Tatum.
stars today than there was back then?
I think so, but the thing I hate about today is everybody wants to do this super team shit. I don't like the super team shit.
That was especially big. What, like 10? No, not even 10 years ago.
Probably about 5-ish.
5 to 8
7.
years. Yeah. 5 to 7, 5 to 8 years ago. That was really big. Like everybody wanted to build the Super 3.
They really did the big 3, yes, and all that jazz. Well, what started that, and I hate to say it like this, the Twin Towers in San Antonio is what started all that shit.
Tim Duncan and
David Robinson.
Yep. Well, because who was the other guy they had on the outside?
Oh, my God. They had so
Parker?
many. They had
Was
Tony
it
Parker.
Tony
They
Parker?
had Manu Ginobili.
Yeah, Ginobili at one point.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a stacked team.
They had
if you think
LaMarcus
about it.
Aldridge at one time.
That was a really stacked team.
Yeah, I mean, it's legit. And then you go to, like, the Jazz that had Hornacek and Malone and Stockton. And all that.
It just feels like they're trying to force more of like they're intentionally putting together super teams
They are.
over the past, like we said, kind of 8 years moving forward. It just seems like it's putting them
That's
together.
like prime example. You want to talk about super team? Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler are on the same floor.
Right.
That's a quote unquote super team.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Lowry did it pretty much almost by himself, with the exception of the fact that he had what's the dude's name? He drained the bucket in Toronto, like the last second buzzer beater, and then went to the Clippers right after that.
Yep.
What was the dude's name? Yeah, I can't remember.
Kind of speaking on this whole super team, kind of the flip flop of that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about reports of teams tanking Like, do you think it's a real thing?
Tanking's a very real thing.
In baseball, I can see it because look at where the Astros are now, and that's what they did for.
And that's kind of where my Rangers are at right now. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean,
my Rangers have kind of been that because, I mean, they went out and got Kumar Rocker. They went out and got,
I had the number.
Josh Young. They spent a ridiculous amount of money getting
I posted it on
DeGrom
on our Facebook.
and Seager and Simeon and.
And that's kind of the argument there. Do you do it like the Astros, who have a majority of a homegrown, because we tanked and I watched them lose 100 games for 5 years?
Right.
Or can you turn around and do it, or is it wrong to do it like the Rangers, where they spent $350 million in free agency to build a team? Is there a right way? Is there a wrong way?
I think it's what works best for your dynamic. I think that's what it is.
And you have to get
because the Rangers,
right.
let's be honest, the Rangers have a good young core.
But think about what if the Astros failed? Like, they tanked, and then they picked Carlos Correa, and he was a bust. And they picked Alex Bregman, and he was a bust. And they picked up Jose Altuve, and he just turned out to be some regular Joe Schmo 5'6" dude.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, isn't he a regular 5'6" Joe Schmo dude?
No, and that's the thing, is he's
really?
not.
Because I feel like the Dubron kid that I was talking about.
Dubon?
Dude. I feel like that's...
But this is his breakout year. He wasn't this before.
But here's the thing.
But
if those guys... at the end of this year, if you're Houston, do you say, hey, in Altuve we trust, or do you roll with the young kid?
Altuve is Craig Biggio 2.0.
Okay.
He'll finish his career as an Astro.
You think?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
He will. But if those picks were a bust, you didn't do what you set out to do by losing 100 games a year.
Right.
Like, you had to get that right.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, we've done the same thing, man. I mean, like I said, Kumar Rocker, you got the other kid from Vanderbilt that's a pitcher. What, Jack Leiter?
Yeah.
I mean, we got two studs down in the minor leagues that are just waiting.
Is it great to see where the Astros are now and the perennial powerhouse that they've become year after year? Yes. But if we fucked those picks up, we're screwed for another 5 years.
I get it. We've been there. I mean,
you're
talking to a squad that literally went back-to-back World Series.
But is it more financially responsible to spend $350 million and get the free agents that you know are established?
I think do you know they're established? I mean, let's be honest. Corey Seager's been out most of this year.
DeGrom has kind of been out.
DeGrom's kind of banged up at the moment. But, I mean, let's be honest. In Nathan Eovaldi, we trust at the moment.
Oh, God, that dude is dominating.
Yes.
How about that dude coming out?
Between Eovaldi and Perez, I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then you figure at some point, probably, if I had to guess, depending on how competitive they are, like if they start falling off, you'll see Jack Leiter.
Yeah.
If they start falling off. If they stay where they're at, you won't see those guys this year.
You don't think so?
I don't think so at all. Unless you go playoffs and you want to surprise the shit out of somebody. But, I mean, do you really want to take a rookie who's been in AAA most of the year and all of a sudden throw him into a playoff atmosphere?
Yeah. No,
I mean, don't get me wrong.
But I think it makes more sense in
Both of them went
baseball.
to Vanderbilt, and both of them can ball.
But it makes – so we're talking about baseball. It makes more sense in baseball, I guess, because it works. It's worked in the past. Let me say it that way.
It has worked in the past.
Basketball, you're not even – if you're the worst team in the league, you're not even guaranteed the number one pick because they do a lottery.
Yes. And they're the only sport that does that, too, because
NHL
football,
does it.
Oh,
Hockey does it. I know.
What?
Hockey does it. But they're not all Canadian.
I feel like majority of them are. Gosh, that's a big Minnesota bass there,
So,
Bob.
do you tank in a sport like basketball and hope because you have a slightly higher percentage chance of getting the number one pick that you get the right guy?
Well, I mean, hey, prime example.
NFL.
Okay.
How many busts are there out there? Jamarcus Russell. I mean, let's just go.
Ryan Leaf.
I mean, David Carr.
David Carr.
Reggie Bush was good,
Matt
but
Leiter.
was he worth
Matt
Leiter?
Leiter, whoever.
Sam Darn. I mean, there's a higher percentage chance of you being a bust as a first round pick.
Yes.
In the NFL than ever. So why would you tank? Let's just be average, get the 15th pick, and nobody's going to call him a bust if he's okay. I'll take a defensive tackle. As long as he plays, he's all right.
Everybody wants to make that splash, though, man. You know it just as I do. You literally think it because you're a Texans fan. So let's open this door.
You want to open the door?
They literally traded up.
Right. We took the number 2 and 3 pick.
Yes.
So they took a chance. I say we. They took a chance, and I predicted.
Fuck them Texans.
I predicted them not taking a quarterback at all.
You did.
Let's say CJ Stroud doesn't work out. We're fucked for 4 more years.
Exactly. And talk about 4 years. You see Bijan's deal? 4 years, $21.7 million, every bit of it guaranteed.
Nice. But I mean, that's the thing. And there's fantasy football shows out there posting that he could be a legitimate number 1 fantasy football pick.
He could.
Why? How? Why? He's a rookie running back.
It's the skill set.
But he's got a ton of run on his legs in college.
He does.
He was Texas.
I feel it was kind of a thunder lightning kind of thing.
He was Texas.
He was majority of it, but I still feel
he's got a lot of run on those legs.
He does have a lot of run, but his run is not a lot of contact.
I'm just saying.
As a guy who watched literally almost every down of Texas football this year, not a whole lot of contact.
I don't know if I would consider him a number 1 fantasy football pick. Is he a first round pick? Yeah, because he's probably going to be a starting running back on an NFL team.
No, he's not going. He's going to be the guy in Atlanta because I don't think Atlanta has anybody else.
Their rookie running back this past year, Tyler Algier, was not bad.
True.
Cordarrelle Patterson has turned out to be a really good running back after a revived
Cordarrelle
career.
Patterson, first of all, is like
he's got a revived career.
He's the Atlanta version of Taysom Hill.
He's the he's the true life version of what Reggie Bush should have been.
True. Very true. New Orleans botched that, though. I didn't like that pick when they came across with it. I didn't like the fact that New Orleans basically bet the farm to get Ricky Williams.
Yeah.
I didn't like that pick at all. And as a Texas guy, that hurt me deeply. Because every chance I got, run, Ricky, run, baby, I'm yelling at the top of my lungs.
No, for sure. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know, and that's kind of why I brought it up. I don't know that the risk reward is worth it to tank.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're going with it. I do.
Because, I mean, who's to say, and I called it, the Will Levis thing. He fell to the second round.
Speaking of, did you see the reports that the Titans may cut Malik Willis?
Really?
Yes.
After taking him first round last? No, second round.
Second round. They took him the same round they took Will Levis. But there's literally talks right now about them possibly cutting Malik Willis.
Why? I mean, I don't know. Because you can't carry 3 quarterbacks, I don't think. I mean, you can if you choose to, but I don't know how. You
can if one of them's Taysom Hill.
Well, that's different. He's not technically a quarterback. That dude's a tight end, halfback, fullback, running tight.
But yet in fantasy,
he's
quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback.
You can't play him in any other. You can't play.
No, well, ESPN you can play him at tight end.
Really? CBS you can't.
No.
CBS he has to be a quarterback.
I don't know. I mean, who's to say Malik Willis's career doesn't take a better trajectory than somebody like Will Levis? If you know you're moving on from Ryan Tannehill, figure that out and see what you've got with Malik and Will.
You know where Malik needs to go? Arizona.
No.
You don't think?
No.
I mean, he's taller than Kyler Murray.
With where Arizona is going with hiring the defensive coordinator from Philadelphia, they need a already set quarterback. They need somebody with experience. They need somebody that knows what they're doing. And Kyler Murray's not that answer. Malik Willis can't be that answer.
I'd say no. Kyler Murray's the super midget. Super midget's not the answer.
They need a Kirk Cousins, a Ryan Tannehill, They could have made a splash and maybe gone for Lamar Jackson. I don't know if that would have been the right choice. Maybe you bring in somebody like Cam Newton. I don't think he's going to be who
I think Cam's done. First of all,
obviously,
I think Cam's done.
Those are the type. I feel like that's the type of player you need.
Okay. Devil's advocate. Kaepernick. Do you bring Kaepernick to Arizona? If he was to go to any team right now, Arizona makes the most sense.
Can he accept the role that he needs to accept would be my question. Because he needs to...
What role was that? You're going to break him in and he's going to be the starter?
No. He needs to accept the fact that I need him to mentor and show Kyler Murray what it means to be a professional athlete. Because Kaepernick did it. He was a backup.
Yes.
He became a starter.
Yes.
And he was electrifying when he was on the field.
Yes.
His throwing motion isn't great because he's super wide. Mm-hmm. He's super long with it. But he's got that it factor. He was electrifying when he was on the field. Take all of that experience with where you are now and give Kyler Murray what I need you to give him. And I need him to become the professional athlete and the type of quarterback that you showed you could be in your prime. Now, if you play better than Kyler, then you're our starter. But that's not what you're coming in for.
So Clint's just getting home from work, by the way.
What's up, buddy? Hey.
Figured we'd shout Clint out.
Hey. How you doing?
I know, right? So let's be honest. Miami's got this in hand. Mm-hmm. I feel New York's fixing to go home.
1 minute.
Yeah.
T-minus 1 minute.
59.2 seconds. Is that you or me?
That's all of us.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like there's certain situations that certain people should walk into and accept. And I don't know that everybody can do that.
True. Very true. I'm talking about flop.
See? It's the flop sport, man.
Look.
I think it's overtaking soccer.
Look.
Oh, he punched me.
He did not punch him.
He punched me.
He did not punch him.
He punched him. Clint, what are you sipping on this evening? I saw your post the other day that you're taking, was it this month or last month off, or taking it slower?
I feel like, first of all, he shouldn't have done that at all. Let's be honest. Shouldn't have taken.
Probably shouldn't do that at all.
You don't take months off.
Not do that, but
no, let's not take months off.
Maybe a week, but a month. Come on, man.
Come on, a month's a bit much. We tried to dry month one time on this show, and it was miserable.
We get really boring really fast.
Yes, we do.
We run out of things to talk about. But I mean, our show's obviously grown a lot more since then. Did he just punch him? I think he punched him. Did he punch him?
I think they should shave his head.
Boom.
Well, first of all, he's hand checking him.
First
of all, he's got his hip all up on him.
Oh, come on. Elbow to the face.
Come on.
Forearm.
Come
all
on.
Forearm.
Come on.
He dropped the people's elbow on that dude.
No, I wish he'd have suplexed him in the middle of that course. What I wish.
You can't do that.
Basketball would be more fun if they'd let him just hang from the rim, elbow somebody off the rim. Yes. Let's see what this ass. VP of NBA Refs Ops.
Refs Ops.
Fuck.
Referee operations.
Why don't they just put referee operations?
I don't know. I just like the way they do the NFL, and they're like, "Hey, this is our
it's our rules analyst guy." Yeah.
Rules analyst. I like that.
You're reaching for something, bro.
Nah, he got forearmed.
Oh my God. I feel that's what's wrong with the NBA. There's too much flops.
I mean, I've seen some legit flops.
Did they really?
Yeah. See?
Oh my God.
He took a forearm to the face.
He should have took a ball. I should have took a knee to the nutsacks when he should have took.
No.
Do you think these 2 free throws are going to make? I hope he misses the next one.
Why you gotta hate? Don't hate, appreciate.
Because it looks like a substitute teacher I had one time.
Dude, his lips.
That's a slow motion replay. Of course, it's going to show that. Look.
Dude, he got hit. It's not like he missed him by an inch.
I'd have decked him if it had been me. I'd have went ahead and just took it.
Come back the other way with a fucking
I'd-
left, go right,
Hey,
left.
no, I would have grabbed that dude literally. I would have wrapped my arm around him and urinagied him right through the floor. Just straight up.
No, because you would be risking your entire career
No,
for
fuck
something
it.
like that.
It's just a fine. It's no big deal. It's a fine.
All right, what do we got? A 4-point lead here. 57 seconds. Oh! 2-point lead.
Okay.
Okay. 2 points, 54.6 seconds.
Look,
Miami's bringing the ball
Miami's going to walk it up.
past half court.
Yep.
It's a 2-point game.
Jimmy Butler's fixing to say, bitch, watch this.
The Knicks are facing elimination. What can they do?
10 seconds. Jimmy ISO.
Oh! Pull up! Oh, he missed!
Uh,
Knicks with the rebound. They're going to tie it up here.
You think?
Oh, 30 seconds left.
I'd deck Brunson right now.
Knicks just brought it across half court. They have one timeout remaining.
I'd deck Brunson.
Oh, shit. Oh, he's driving.
Nope,
Oh,
nope.
Got him double
No,
teamed. Oh!
look at you.
He'd
You
steal
turn
it.
it
He'd
over.
steal the ball and the Knicks foul.
You turn it over.
How do you
with
turn
14
it over
'Cause
right there?
You want me to tell you why he turned it over? Karma.
Because he couldn't see.
No,
because
karma.
he couldn't see out of his eye because he got 4 on.
No, that bitch got karma. That's what that
No.
is. That's fucking karma.
That's because he couldn't see.
Karma.
He was seeing
Watch.
double.
Watch, here it is. I'm going to do this. Oh, there's 2 of them. Oh, wait. Let me do this stupid-ass underhand pass.
What was that? That was
Nope.
a terrible pass. And they should have took it back out, reset,
Nope.
and came back with it.
Brunson got exactly what. Yeah.
That's
go
ball
up,
game.
Hey, go ahead and say that's my bad. Go ahead and do this.
That's ball game.
That's my bad.
Yeah, I fucked that up.
Because Jimmy Butler's fixing to hit both.
First one made.
Yeah.
3-point lead.
And go up 4 with 14 seconds.
The Knicks better pray that he misses for some ungodly
Oh, no.
reason here.
If Butler misses, he's
He's
tomahawking.
he's 9 of 10 and
If
shooting
Butler
86%.
misses, he's tomahawking it. And they're going to go up by 5.
from the free throw line.
Wait for it. They're up 4.
Yeah.
I called it. Yes,
4,
Miami's
14
like,
seconds.
suck it.
Timeout taken.
That's our last timeout, too, by the way. Knicks have no more timeouts.
I mean, I don't have skin in the game. It's just fun to see.
I don't
come back
neither.
win.
Is Fox on here?
Fox, yeah.
Okay. What time is it?
I don't know.
Never mind.
We're
we
2
missed,
hours in,
We missed
so
it.
9.
Never mind. SmackDown's over.
Oh.
We missed it.
Oh shit! It is. It's Friday.
It's
SmackDown's
Friday.
on.
SmackDown's on.
It was on.
It was on. Yeah, it went off 14 minutes ago. I had to scratch my head.
Well,
real quick.
we had guests.
We did have guests, which
We
was
were,
super
we were a
fun.
little occupied.
Yeah, the guests were fun. I liked
Oh.
it. I'm not gonna.
Shout out
I'm not
Ari
gonna
and
lie.
Andy.
If they want to send us some the absence,
I'd like to try their whiskey.
okay.
We didn't get a bourbon, did we?
We got just the
pecan.
The pecan.
So we don't, because they advertise a bourbon
What do you want?
on their website, and I'd love to try it because it says it's a blend of a blend of bourbons. But obviously, with the direction Ari is bringing that distillery, obviously we're gonna have to do something with their single malt, right? So I feel like that's the next step. It's coming out late this year, so let's hopefully plan to have these guys back on come next year, whenever after the American Single Malt's released. Would love to do something again. Obviously, they can come on before then. I mean, they can come on anytime they want. But would love to have them on after they release their American Single Malt. Would love to get a bottle and try it. 11 seconds. Ball game over.
We'll find out what answer I get. Ball game is over. 11.5. Look, Spike's
Spike-
lazy. Spike's leaving.
Spike says,
like,
"Fuck this game.
I'm done.
I'm out."
Spike's like, screw it. Nope.
I'm Spike Lee. I'm leaving.
Spike Lee says,
I'm out.
gone.
Go.
Yep. Where's Tyler Hero at during all this? I hadn't seen him in a bit. In a hot minute. Miami's up 5.
With 11 and a half seconds.
Yep. Go ahead and hit this next one. Hit me with float over.
All right, so Miami's moving on.
Yep. Miami's the first team to move on, by the way, too.
Who do you know who they'll play?
They get the winner out of Philadelphia and Boston in the Eastern Conference
Oh,
Finals.
so they'll play Boston.
Yes. I mean, maybe.
Whee!
Hey, look, you got a layup
Where do you
that
go,
was
kiddo?
uncontested.
He didn't
Hey,
get
look. Oh, it's over.
And that's a ball game. All right,
Yep.
so they'll get Boston. Let's admit that. I think Boston's going to win that series.
Okay. So they'll get Boston. So it'll be Miami, Boston.
Do the Lakers finish this off tomorrow with a 3-2 lead? Can they finish it out tomorrow?
I think it goes 7.
Are they playing
No, they play tonight.
No, tomorrow.
No, they play next.
Tonight. You're right. It is tonight. I'm a night behind.
Yeah.
It was the
As they say
Western
as they say on the playground, we got next.
Yeah, they do play next.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know, right?
Why they got to play so late?
I don't, because it's a West Coast thing.
Obviously, we can't stay up for the next damn game.
Why? I ain't working tomorrow.
Me neither.
Okay. See, you're not working tomorrow. We can literally end the show, watch the game together, and just talk about shit on the next week.
Or we could just stay live.
Oh, God. Do we really want to pull a 4-hour?
No, God, no.
Okay, God, no. Not pulling 4 hours.
Shit. Well, hell.
I know, but I love the fact that it was a 5 seed and an 8 seed. I love that matchup.
I know there's been
some
really
interesting
good
matchups. I love the whole play-in thing that the NBA is doing right now. I kind of like that.
I know everybody complains about all of the sports expanding the playoffs, but it's really cool.
It really
That's
is.
what we love about March Madness, is to see a 16 seed beat a 1 seed.
Because you know just as well as I do, it's when you get hot and how you stay hot.
That's what we love about March Madness. Why can't you expand that into the NFL,
Yes.
into the NBA, into MLB?
I don't see why you can't.
But people complain about it. Oh, there's too many teams getting in. Half the
Well,
league
who
makes it to the
cares?
playoffs.
Who cares? I mean, who gives an absolute flying shit? I don't. Better TV
hell.
ratings.
Yeah, that's more games we get to watch.
Exactly.
There's a reason they're expanding the NCAA football playoffs to 12 teams.
Yeah, it's going 12.
Starting sooner.
Yeah,
or
4 to 12.
going later. I mean, there's...
Can I talk about how I have an infatuation with literally wanting to pee on the Hollywood sign at some point in life?
It's kind of weird.
No, it's not.
Like, this matchup's a 6 versus 7.
I don't like California.
Well...
I'm too right.
I'm just saying, if
too
it broke
right
off
for
like
California.
a Kit Kat bar, nobody would complain.
I don't
too
think
much.
nobody would play either. Can we make it another island like
Why's
Hawaii?
that dude got a unibrow, bro?
Because that's his thing. I'm surprised he's not in a
Eyebrows.
wheelchair on the court.
I like to... Yeah, how you... Okay.
Yeah.
How you going to get wheeled off in a wheelchair
To starting the next game.
24 hours later?
I get it.
You're on the court.
I get it. Yeah. No,
Flop City.
yes. LaFlop.
I'm not saying you faked it.
LaFlop and the Lakers are literally fixing. Can we talk about how I think Gary Payton Jr. is legit?
Wait, there's a Gary Payton the second?
Oh yes, he's legit. I don't know if you've ever
Shut
seen
the
him.
front
He's
door.
Legit.
No, there's not.
There is.
That's a real dude.
That's a real.
And
dude.
that's really Gary Payton's son.
It really is.
Oh man, I didn't know that. Shows you how much I watch basketball.
Yeah, I don't watch a whole lot of basketball either. But can we talk about how? Oh, good lord. Jesus, fuck LeBron.
I'm gonna go pee.
You go pee. I'm gonna talk shit on LeBron.
Talk shit.
Because LeBron's just, I don't
Talk
get.
your shit.
LeBron, I feel, wants to be more culture than player. Yeah. Oh, Draymond. Oh, yay. Look at that. Tie ball game. I love NBA. No, not really. I hate basketball. That stems from my deep-seated issues with my father, who constantly made me go to the gym and work on threes and layups and free throws and all that kind of shit. And I'm not that tall, by the way, folks. I'm like maybe 5'10" on a good day with big hair. But it's all good. Like I said, it's the playoffs. It's NBA. I would love to see this series that we're watching right now go to 7.
Yeah.
I think every series should go to 7 or 5.
Well, that's not how it works.
That's how it should
I mean,
work.
if you lose, then you lose. Like, you
No.
can't just say I want every series to go to 7.
I want every series. Every
Like,
series.
that's not how that works.
Uh-oh.
Ballin'.
Oh, Clay missed.
So they're in Los Angeles.
They're in the crypto.com arena. Which let's be honest, that name
surprised it
should
hasn't fallen down yet.
Right?
Whole crypto
I
thing.
know, right? Listen to us. We're like, where is Gary Payton II?
I don't even know what he looks like.
We'll find out.
Does he look like Gary Payton?
We'll find out because I'm sure they'll show it at some point. He may be the guy at the free throw line. Who
He
knows?
may be. Nope, that's D'Angelo
No.
Russell. No, he's a Laker.
Yeah, that's D'Angelo Russell.
Gary
for
Payton's a Golden State,
Oh,
which
yeah,
doesn't
he's
even make sense.
sure. Warriors, come out and play. God, this show's went off the rails.
Why do they call it Golden State? Why couldn't they just be? Where is Golden
San
State?
Francisco?
Why couldn't they be the San Francisco Warriors?
They should have been the San Francisco Sirs.
Sirs?
Yeah, like
excuse me, sir.
yes.
Why?
I don't know. It just sounds like more of a alliteration type thing.
And their logo could be like a dude like tipping his cap or something.
I mean, maybe. Could be the little kid that's pissing on everything on the back of the trucks. I mean, who knows?
Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
Oh God, Anthony Davis.
I feel like it's gonna end tonight.
You think? You think the Lake Show's gonna pull it out?
It's gonna be hard to lose at home.
No, I feel like they've done it a lot this year. Ugh, goodness.
Is that Gary Payton?
I can't see. No. I don't
Wiggins,
have
Andrew
I don't have my
Wiggins.
glasses. Can I borrow yours? I don't.
Shit. They're foreseeing far away, so they should help you.
Oh no.
No?
No,
Okay.
that shit hurts.
Sorry.
You're blind.
Yeah, well, I can't see far away.
I can tell by putting those on.
Yeah. Like the TV.
That's Gary Payton.
You're
Gary Payton just got knocked on the floor.
No, bulk. Oh.
No, seriously.
that is him.
That's Gary
That's
Payton.
him.
Yes.
Oh, that's for sure him.
Yes.
He does look like his.
He does look like his daddy. Oh my God.
Very nicely done.
Very nicely done. Is there anything else worth a shit on?
Probably not.
Okay.
It's 9:30 on a
Okay.
Friday night.
Yeah, it
Probably
is
not.
9:30. LeBron.
Do you want to?
Should have got hit in the testicles. Oh, he got blocked.
They called a foul too.
What?
That was all ball.
That was all ball.
All ball. You want to pull up one of them things?
I guess I can.
I mean, it's almost 9:30. I figure we can.
Sure, why not?
We're at 2 hours and 20 minutes. You want to do one of them things?
Let's see where I'm at. Here we go.
While you pull that up, I just want to say thank you again to Thornton Distilling,
Yes.
Andrew, and Ari for coming on.
Yes.
Y'all are awesome to talk to. Can't wait to have y'all back on. Can't wait to see what y'all come out with as far as the American single malt stuff goes. Super excited for y'all. We love our Texas craft distilleries.
Yes.
We admit that. We talk about it all the time. Would love to continue to grow our relationship with y'all and have y'all back on and see where y'all go as far as the Illinois craft scene goes. I think it's really cool that Ari is the president of the craft distillery thing over there.
I think it's cool that Ari's younger than both of us.
Yeah, I mean, he went to school in Scotland. That's kind of cool. Congratulations again, and thank you to JD for taking time out of his day to talk to me about the MGP and Penelope merger. I can't wait to see what they all come up with. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in tonight. It's been a lot of fun.
It has.
We've gone a little bit longer than normal when
Little
it's
bit.
just us.
A little bit.
But we've had a ton of fun.
Yep.
And can't wait to do it again next week.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll have
I'm waiting on a
guest.
response.
A guest.
I'm waiting on a
next
response.
week.
We'll have
We're hoping to have a guest on set
Yes.
next week is
On
what we're
set, yes.
what we're hoping for.
If Clint's available, we can have Clint. I need to invoke the Mike Wright rule of Clint cannot blang no more than 6
Blang?
bottles.
He can't blang no more.
He can't blang, whatever. No more than 6 bottles.
We're gonna call that
The Mike
Wright rule.
Yep. That's what we're calling it. The Mike Wright rule. Yep. Mike would like it. Not gonna lie.
Oh shit. Ah!
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Last call for alcohol.
Hangovers are temporary. Whiskey stories are forever.
That is the truth, good sir. That is the truth.
It tries.
As always,
Check out the merch.
what's that website again?
Functionyourway.live.
That is the website, functionyourway.live. We got a ton of cool stuff on there, and it's helps support the show. It's what brings us a lot of the bottles that we put on the table.
Yep.
And helps us finish up the studio.
Are we with the whole come and take it thing? Come and drink it. Come
I think
and smoke
so.
it?
I need
Okay.
I need to get some time to sit down and work on some stuff. It's summer, and you know how hectic it gets. But yeah, I mean we've got some hopefully new merchandise coming out soon. I'm gonna try to put some stuff together, Texas related, and not so Texas related as well. Old school rap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I changed it up a little bit.
Did you?
Yeah. It's
But-
not the exact, but it's close.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what it is.
So it's functionyourway.live. Keep an eye out for all the good stuff. Clint, have a good weekend. Hopefully everything is going well with the BMF 4.0.
We saved your seat, by the way. It's right there.
Seats wide open whenever you're ready.
Yes.
You've been awesome.
I try.
I try to be awesome.
You are.
Ari's been awesome. Andy's been awesome.
Yes.
Everybody watching the show's been awesome.
The Andy thing threw me off because I have him listed as Andrew in my phone.
We've been the Functional Gentlemen.
We try.
You've been the friends of the show.
Yes.
Everybody have a good night.
Yes.
We're out. # Function Your Way.
Yes.
My tongue, get what I deserve. Trendsetter, I got style for you. Ain't seen you at the top, it's been a while for you. Big you up and they look down on you.